All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for the signal, Dave. That was
You got it.
so subtle, super subtle. Uh, welcome, everyone, to this game of Scum and Villainy, titled A Fistful of Credits. I'm Allan Henry. I'm going to be running this game. It is an absolute joy to be running this with my dear, dear friends, both here in New Zealand and out there in the ether, and also in the United States of America. What a joy to be running it with Guild Superior. This has been a wonderful, wonderful kind of connection and friendship, and I really love that we get the chance to do all this stuff. And thank you in the chat and all the people watching at home for coming to hang out. It's always fun seeing all the shenanigans that we get up to, but also seeing the brilliant, brilliant kind of sideways comments and ideas that come from the chat. It's always fun. Just remind me, Dave, is there anything specific we need to cover housekeeping-wise in terms of...
Yeah, I could do a couple quick announcements before we get into like introductions and stuff. I'd love to make sure we get everybody to introduce themselves, and I'll drop some links in there. But everybody knows me. I'm Dave. Great to have my friends from New Zealand back playing. We do have a couple of quick announcements. We are raising some funds for the American Civil Liberties Union. And so if you're interested in that and helping out, these are the folks that stand up against hegemony and imperialism and take people to task using the law. And they can only do that with funding. So we are making a pledge to help them out. So I'm going to drop a link in the chat if you are interested in helping with that. Also, Allan was generous enough to say that if we can raise $100 for the American Civil Liberties Union during this stream today, we will get a bonus. If we pull off this mission, we will get a payment bonus of some kind that will help us even more in our next mission. So thank you for that, Allan. I really appreciate that. We do have coming up here on Tuesday of next week, we're going to have the finale of our Outlaws of Greyhawk campaign, which has been ridiculously fun, crazy, dramatic, scary, and if you have missed any of those episodes, I encourage you to go check them out on our YouTube page. Wednesday night, we'll be back with the finale of our House of Eidolons game, which is going to be epic and amazing as well. That has been a fantastic game. So we have a big week next week, and then we'll be back here, of course, next Saturday to play some more Scum and Villainy. So lots going on here, but that's what I have, Allan. I'm going to kick it back to you.
Huzzah! Excellent. Okay, well, before we dive straight into the game, and before we go around the table and introduce ourselves, actually, no, let's do the introductions first, because then I'll talk about the game and then we'll dive right in. Shall we do that? So Josh, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm a giant geek. I'm playing Levi tonight. I don't know if we want to do our character introductions. I'm doing my character introduction. I spent time on this guy. I'm a fan of him. I'm playing Levi. He's our mechanic, and he spends a lot of time fixing things, but also talking to his space mongoose, and playing with his drone that happens to look like a cobra, because they're fun, and frankly, they don't break things quite as often as other people do. And that's what I got.
Right on. Okay, nice. Thanks, Josh. Emily, would you like to do an intro?
I'd love to. I'm Emily. I'm, in essence, a narrative witch across many different forums. Today I'll be playing Luna, who is not a narrative witch. She is a pilot driven solely by her need for speed, caffeine, and spite. And she is accompanied by her little Urbot, which she has called Orbot, for reasons that may or may not come up. But I thought long and hard about, and I love. Super excited to jump into this. Very excited to play Scum and Villainy and get right on in. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Emily. And the newest member of our little cadre of geeks, Jules, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. My name's Jules. I can generally be found places on Jules from NZ. Huge fan of RPG, been a super nerd my entire life, get paid to run games professionally sometimes, and it's super fun. So I'm really stoked to be here to play Scum and Villainy, live out my Star Wars dreams, being a little rebel in space. I cannot wait. I'm going to be playing a mystic, which is why I'm all like spicy dressed, all kind of feeling the way, feeling myself, trying to find my way through space with friends. Yeah, that's kind of who Sibylla's going to be. Yay.
Nice, excellent, nice. And of course, Dave, remind us who you are.
I have the honor and privilege to play Dr. Victor Kesson, who is both a retired, not on his own accord, field medic from the bad guys, but he's also a psychedelic explorer. And so I'm very, very, very excited to be here and to be part of this very important crew. The work that we do is critical for the rebellion. I'm into it.
Excellent. Right on. I can't wait to meet Vic. Yes, and I am Allan Henry, a thoroughly strange person. I am looking forward to running this game. Scum and Villainy, for those of you who don't know, it's Forged in the Dark system. The cool cats who designed Blades in the Dark had such a good time. They're like, oh, why not Blades in the Dark, but in space? And thus we have Scum and Villainy, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. This is a crew of space scoundrels. They are rebels fighting against the bad guys, and the system is inherently a narrative system. It's very much kind of narrative forward and player forward, which is a system I realize that I am really, really enjoying. And as the game goes on, it's a system that I guess most people will kind of recognize in terms of situations are outlined. The crew gets a job. They decide how they want to do the job, and they talk amongst themselves, and they collate any kind of resources they think might help. And then we roll to see how the mission starts, and then we dive straight in, and there's all sorts of things and mechanics that happen during the game, which we will discover as we play. One of the key things that the Forge in the Dark system is known for is the idea of flashbacks. Players are able to invoke flashbacks to canonically change the context of the scene they're in, which is super interesting because it gives a chance for both me as the game master, but also the players a chance to improv our way around a challenge. Because as space scoundrelly as they are, and yes, we have a legally distinct Jedi on the team, but combat isn't great. It's very easy for things to go horribly wrong when combat ensues. So finding interesting and creative and zany ways around it is always wonderful. But unless anyone has any quick questions or things to point out, we'll dive straight in. We good? Everyone feeling good? Excellent. Okie dokie. So the sound of metal grinding against metal fills your ears as one entire side of a large refinery begins to fall behind you. You sprint towards the exit. Your personal kind of datacomms have pointed out a reasonable means of getting outside of this facility to a spot where you can be extracted up towards your ship, the Fire Drake. And as you run behind you, you can see a group of corporate agents chasing you. Looking down, you notice that you see again on your personal comms that the information you had been sent to retrieve in this infiltration has been sent to its recipient. And you get a big green tick of that part of the job being accomplished. But now you have to escape, as the charges that you set earlier were prematurely detonated when one of the service bots in this facility malfunctioned and set one of them off, causing a chain reaction. There are large vats of molten metal falling and splashing behind you, spraying sparks and just bathing your backs with heat as you sprint towards a large metal door that begins rolling up. You can see light on the other side, and as a pressure hose explodes and sends shrapnel in front of you in a large cloud of, you hope is steam, you come bursting through, and let's say, Levi, describe how and what you are doing to try and get through this steam on the way out this door. In terms of like, this is the beginning action sequence of this show. We have seen a large explosion, and now we're getting to the intro credits of where we see your character moving, and then suddenly freeze frame as your nameplate, Levi. What do we see?
So the scene opens on this like burly blonde man wearing oil and dirt stained overalls with a red shirt underneath and a red bandana tied around his forehead, just hustling forward as fast as he can. You can see that there is like a blaster hanging off his hip, and there's an odd purple and green furry thing jammed in the front of his overalls. Around his right arm, there is what appears to be a coil of segmented metal running from his elbow down to his wrist. And he is just absolutely focused on trying to like dive behind some cover so he can get some covering fire down for the rest of the crew to keep making their way. And hopefully somebody will be able to give him some covering fire. But we'll find out, I guess.
Excellent, nice. So Levi, you see a stack of opened and empty shipping containers, and you run and slide around the corner, and your left arm grabs the lip, which whips you around to the side, and as you do, you unholster your blaster and just immediately point behind you and start into the distance as your crewmates come hurtling towards you. And the first person you see sprinting straight for the door is your twin sister, Luna. Emily, how is Luna reacting in this situation?
There is a big part of Luna that is madly grinning as she sprints straight at her brother. She is in a green flight suit, 5'7", choppy blonde hair. The color and texture totally matching Levi's, a little bit curly. Everything in her body says that this is precisely where she wants to be, living on the edge as she runs at him, surrounded by her crewmates. At her feet, rolling along, is what appears to be a round metal ball, kind of shaped like an armadillo. Flashing black, gold, and then potentially purple as well. Yep.
Nice. So as you and Orbot sprint past the blaster fire coming past you, there's a moment where you and Levi lock eyes before he eventually turns back, and you run and you get to the door as it's opening, and you manage to slide under it and kind of hold your hand on it, looking back to your companions. And we see sprinting her way through the steam, we see Sibylla. Jules, do you want to let us know how Sibylla is doing in this wild scene?
She's enjoying herself, and that seems quite bizarre, but she's sort of sprinting, and she's making it look much like she's sort of dancing through the space. She's spinning and weaving, and it's very like easy to see her just sort of like duck out of the way of things that haven't even got there yet, but then suddenly are there. It's like she's preempting everything that's coming, and she's just ducking, weaving, spinning. Her purple robes are flying in the air, and then behind her she just picks up something, and there's like a moment where her arm stretches, and a whole barrier picks itself up and throws itself backwards at the things that are chasing them, and then she sort of wanders over to everybody, pushes her hair back off her face and is like, are we there yet?
Nice. So Sibylla, you throw your hand back and call on the way, and a mishmash of barrels and twisted metal and bits of concrete fly into 3 or 4 agents who through their blaster fire are like, look out for the and just you can see one of the agents gets kind of thrown in the air with a Wilhelm scream of like, yeah. And you can see now, just rounding the other side of the room, spinning to help Levi give the group some cover is Dr. K, Vic coming through. Dave, what does Vic look like as he hurls through the scene?
So Vic kind of has this mop of blonde hair, kind of giving some Gene Wilder vibes right now, but just sort of like blowing in the breeze and the wind and the action that's happening around him. He's got his glasses down. He's kind of trying to mimic Sib's sort of like really graceful, like mystical motions, and he's kind of like doing a little bit of a jig and kind of kicking his feet up a little bit, and he's got a big rolled cigarette of some kind in his mouth, and the smoke's just kind of billowing up. Cigarette, and as this massive crate goes flying by from Sib's defensive maneuver, he sort of like ducks out of the way as it flies past him. And he's just like, very chill. That was very chill, Sib. And he's just like trying to keep up as he's doing his like little sort of mock graceful dance.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, nice. Yeah, as you turn back to Sib, Vic, trying to copy the way that Sib moves through the space. There's a moment where you see a panel to your right, and there are panels. There are like messages that are flashing on it, and one of them reads. Is a flashing red sign that just says comms lockout with a big switch beside it, and you like hit that, and you see the red turns into a green, and all four of you hear on your communicators now the sound from the ship. Comment, ground crew, are you guys there? You okay? Is everything all right?
It's a little hairy right now. It's a little hairy right now.
Yeah, it's like there's less blaster fire coming your way thanks to Sib's defensive maneuver, but there's still some. You hear across your communities like, there's a dropship coming down. You're gonna come out in the middle of a car wrecking yard. If you could just hold out for a little bit longer, the dropship will be right there. Okay. Yeah, Luna, you can see now as you're near the door, looking outside you see like wrecked shells of cars, large cranes and lifting. There's a compactor that's currently crunching one of the vehicles, and the four of you kind of bust through this door, and the door currently is opening. You can try and close it against the folks that are chasing you, or if you want to just try and get the heck out of here to the ship, you're welcome to do so.
Let's try to close this door. Let's buy us some time. We're gonna need to buy as much time as we can, I'm thinking. I mean, really, what do we have but time? But nevertheless, help me with this.
Good. Look, Vic, I'm gonna need you to step away from the machinery, because the last time I let you anywhere near it got gummed up.
No, fair, please. Can you close this, please?
Luna, if you could get off the hold open button now that we're all on this side of it, that'd be wonderful.
What the hell happened back there, you guys? Are we on the same page, or did something not go right?
I didn't do it. Just before you accuse me, it wasn't me.
I mean,
it wasn't Orbot either.
I would just like to point out to everybody that I raised my objections to the idea of using the servo bots as the fuses. I told you that getting into their circuitry was potentially going to have some downsides. So while, yes, arguably I was responsible for this, I do want to point out it wasn't my fault.
So as the door is closing, there's another like explosion of dust and things that comes out from the bottom of it just as it explodes, and you can see some of the looks like workers at this car yard are kind of running around the corner trying to see what's going on. There are a number of them who are looking super confused.
It's fine. Everything is fine here. Just a bit of a malfunction with some equipment. Closing the doors just on account of safety. You know how important safety is. I'm looking for the sign that says there hasn't been an injury for how many days has it been? Hey, you, how many days has it been since an injury?
there's a guy with like a cap and like overalls, and he looks like he's wearing some sort of very basic exoskeleton. He's got his metal gloves and boots. You see him, he's like, last time we checked, it was like 4 weeks.
That's pretty
About
good.
a month, you guys. And
Let's
you see
keep
the
it
others
that
are
way,
like,
everybody.
they're super confused. Like,
Yeah.
do we need to change it or?
No, not
everything
yet.
okay?
Everybody just, be careful. Keep an eye on your buddy system is always in play. Am I right, guys?
You see them, they're like, yeah. Like, they're like, yeah, there's a buddy. Wait, who are you? Do we need
No,
to,
it's fine.
Someone go
I'm a
get
doctor.
the manager, please?
I'm a
Can we get the
doctor, it's
foreman?
Yeah, I'm a doctor. Don't worry about it. I've got a stethoscope.
Another guy's like, why is the doctor here? Is somebody hurt? No. We're like, we're good. No, but there's no injuries, right, Doc?
It's preemptive. It's just preemptive. If everybody wants to just meet up in the foreman's office, there'll be just a quick physical. I don't know. It's fine.
You see one of the workers who's like older than the others, who also has a cigarette. He's just like, yeah, well, it's about time for our union mandated breaks anyway. He's like, good, come on, guys, and they're like, oh, okay. And they leave, and you can see now there is a large gate ahead of you, and you can see the dropship heading down. You get through the gate and hop on the ship, and within moments you are like, you dust off and you are starside. Very soon you arrive back to your ship, a Corvette class, designation Fire Drake. Although, Luna, have you given your ship a new name? Have you rechristened the ship?
I want to say that I'm working on it. Orbot took me a while to come up with. So
Sure.
It's something that, Luna, there's some decisions that Luna makes really quickly, and there's other decisions that Luna takes longer on. She's working on a number of nicknames. One of them's Baby.
Look, that's
where she's
good.
at. But
Yeah.
also, wrestling with the idea of not really sure one should name a ship, Do you get attached? If you name it, does it become real? It's something she thinks about. Something she thinks about before she goes to bed at night. But Baby is where it's currently at.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like Levi and I get into solid arguments about this.
Sure. All right.
Levi is very vehemently against two things. Number one, calling his ship Baby. And number
Baby.
two, the idea that Luna thinks she has any right at all to name his ship.
It's Baby, and it's mine.
Yeah,
Maybe
brilliant,
we should
brilliant.
query the crew. The crew should have a say maybe in the name if we rechristen. Christening is a very specific thing that you do to make sure that the ship has good luck and has goodwill and that we're all kind of vibing together,
There's as you're saying this as the dropship reattaches with the Fire Drake and you step through the main hold doors. There are a few of the crew members kind of moving around. You can see standing there, you see Sid, the ship's cook, like quite possibly the largest, bluest man you've ever seen. And as he stands there in his apron, arms folded, you can see he like lifts up his right arm, which is completely robotic, and you see him like points at all of you, and he's just like, "Okay, is anybody injured? Everybody fine?"
Great.
I'm good,
And then
Sid.
Luna looks around.
little peckish maybe, Sid, if there's any snacks. Right, guys? Crew is probably a little hungry. Hey, great timing, by the way, with the pickup.
He's like, "Well, don't look at me. I was just sitting here worrying because you have been gone longer than you said you would. You said 20 minutes in, out. It's been 3 hours. Okay, I was worried sick.
Sid, 20 minutes never means 20 minutes.
Okay, but just once in my life, I would like it to mean the thing. Okay, I would like 20 minutes to mean 20 minutes.
It's
Please.
like when I say to you that it's going to take me 20 minutes to get ready. How long do you have to wait?
Okay, look. Maybe I'm just hoping against hope. Okay, like I just, when you go down, it's dangerous. I don't want you to get hurt. And he like says this as he like turns and heads back towards the galley, Just like, oh, every time there was your Luna. There is like an assistant helmsman, another member of the crew, who sent down the ship. Would you like to describe and name this person? I just came up with a random voice.
Amazing! I can't wait to hear it.
It was just the guy who talked to you on the radio, and he was like, "Is everything okay?"
Beautiful, beautiful. He gangly, younger than me. Mop of curly ginger hair, quite wild.
Oh, yeah, right on.
Often will get pens or his own fingers stuck in it in exasperation. I quite enjoy driving him just that little bit mad. Two things I like: Need for Speed, and making everyone around me just a little bit wild. And I'm gonna go with, I call him Ginger.
You call him Ginger.
But his real name is Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Yes.
Which
Excellent.
means, by the way, we all call him Ginger. No.
Yeah, everyone calls him Ginger. Sweet. So yeah,
Levi does not, as a point of pride, he does not use the nicknames that his sister comes up with.
sure.
And as he pushes past this assistant helmsman, heading towards the engine bay. All right, Matchstick, how you doing?
You see, he like turns to you, and he does indeed look. He's so gangly with this mop of. He looks like a matchstick. So if anything, he's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty wild trying to track you guys down for a while. We lost your signal for a bit there, but we found it. I'm
sure you found running my ship enormously complicated. I'm going to go see if you've done anything stupid to it.
I mean, yeah, this is a pretty complex piece of machinery. Yeah.
We know it's much.
And as Levi like ducks through the hatch to the engine bay, you just see Tavi, his purple and green mongoose, pop up over his shoulder and just like squeak at Matchstick over my shoulder.
Does Tavi like Matchstick?
Only Levi knows, and Levi's not telling. Levi likes to keep Matchstick Nicholas on his toes a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, as Tavi squeaks, there's a moment where Matchstick kind of goes, yeah, and turns back to the rest of you, and it's just like, okay, yeah, sure. He looks at you, Luna. So, what's the plan, boss? We just gonna head out of here and wait for the call?
I think that sounds good. I think getting further away from our current position would be a good start. Yes.
Excellent. Nice. Okie dokie. So you, Matchstick gets the ship ready to head away. You're currently in the Rin system of the Procyon sector. Your last little mission was on the moon of Warren, and
Ooh, fancy map.
And the documents that you were sent to procure have been sent to a member of the Resistance because they pertain to some information about a meeting of very influential people within the hegemony. No one is really sure why they're meeting. It's not the usual kind of calendar scheduled meetings throughout the year that these members would do. Something new has come up and no one really knows why. But you head to the let's see, the ship has we'll say you head to not the crew quarters, but there's a central part of the ship that has a lot of communications equipment. And you head in there and kind of get yourselves ready and wait. I mean, it's going to take a couple of minutes before any communication is made because you're currently hurtling your way to a safe part of the sector. Is there anything on the ship you think you all would do while you're waiting for this this message. It's also fine if you don't have anything you want to do. If you want to just get straight into the breakdown and then the next part, that's also good.
I have something. I don't know how consequential it would be, but I know Vic would definitely be heading back to his small makeshift laboratory area, which is sort of shared with Sid's also very makeshift kitchen situation, because we decided at some meeting of the crew that I apparently wasn't invited. I'm trying to stay chill. I wasn't there. Decisions were made. We decided that there were other things that were more important than a galley. Okay, fine. You can't survive without sustenance, but I understand priorities being what they are. So I will go back, and Sid and I will sort of
the ship doesn't have a medical bay either, does it?
No, it does
Nope.
not. We will commiserate a little bit about the status of our working conditions. And on the side, we're sort of like talking about unionizing even within the ship, but we're sort of keeping it low key right now because we have certain demands that we would like. And so Vic is a little bit of an instigator in that respect, but I'll definitely go back and kind of kick it with Sid, and then also check on my my fungal spores, my mushroom farm that I've got going on in the wall panels of the ship, because as many, of course, all of my crew members would know that I am very much cultivating Vasna, which is a very important fungus that I picked up from some people on the planet of Orzoth 9 long ago.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. And he's right. You all know that Vic spent some time on this planet called Orzoth 9. He's learned how to cultivate and produce something known as Vasna, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, it's kind of like ayahuasca?
Yeah, I would say so. It allows the people, the Zirin, who are the dominant culture and society on this planet, to access the shared history and shared time space with each other. Yeah.
Excellent. Nice. Okie dokie. Nice. So yeah, you head into the galley / mid bay / dining table, and you can see that Sid has fashioned his own form of a galley kitchen in terms of literally, like, he's somehow lifted up some of the wall panels and is funneling the heat from the heat shielding to cook food. And it seems to be fine for him, but anytime anyone tries to help him with cooking, the heat and the radiation coming off is incredible. But Sid seems to be fine.
You can also hear coming through, like, that area, like where the heat and the radiation's coming through, you can hear the sounds of Levi, like, knocking about in the engine bay.
Oh, yeah.
Because the heat's coming off from the engine. One of the main engines.
Yeah. Awesome. But yeah, you arrive and Sid's there.
What's cooking, Sid? What are you working on? It smells good.
Well, it is the best I could do with what I have, but it is essentially a form of protein cake. But I've managed to synthesize a dressing which gives it a little bit of an acidic bite, and but also has nutrients in it. And it tastes a little bit like oil, but it's fine.
You had me at cake, Sid. You had me at cake. You know me. I love a good cake. I'm down with whatever you've got cooking. And just so you know, I did talk to the rest of the team about the situation, but I still think, some sort of organization, we need to come together. We need to approach the twins and, with our demands. And I think they will listen. They will listen if we do it strategically and respectfully. Yeah. And, but there's, I mean, we got to stick together. So
you see him,
look at this.
He clenches his metal fist and he's like, yes, there is power in the unions, yes? Together.
Absolutely. There's also power in the Vasna. And I know that you've been hesitant so far, but whenever you're ready to expand and to take a little bit of a journey with me, I'm there for you. I firmly believe this would be good for you. And, if we, at some point, we can even maybe work it into some of your recipes with consent, of course.
Okay.
At that exact moment, you hear through the vent, If he puts any of the goddamn mushrooms in my food, I'm airlocking him.
You know what, Sid? What Levi doesn't know, and I probably shouldn't even be telling you this right now, is that I've been microdosing him for about 4 weeks. Just little bits. It's fine. I think that might have been what went sideways down in the mission. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
nevertheless.
Well, look, we can talk about this later, okay?
Fair.
But in terms of Devosna, I think some questions are better left not asked.
Okay.
But
All right. I respect that, Sid. I respect that a lot. you're a deep individual. And I love you for it. I'm just gonna reach up and try to hug him. He's just a huge individual. I'm just gonna I'm gonna try to figure out how does the physics of this work?
He's like what are you? Okay, wait, hang on. I'm cooking. What are you doing?
It's just a sign of respect and affection, Sid. No problem.
He's like, no, I get it, but I mean, he turns and pats you on the head. He's like, I am glad we are friends, Vic. Okay.
Yep. All right, let me get out of your hair. I can't wait to taste the cake.
Excellent. Good. Okay, nice. Luna, you head into. Are you heading just to the cockpit? Where is that?
Yeah.
Where you just? Yeah, it's just you and Matchstick, heading out into the depths of the Rin system. Matchstick kind of looks over at you and he's like, I mean, everything was pretty much. We were just sitting up here in orbit, so everything was fine, really. How'd it go? It sounded pretty eventful down there.
I think there were some things that maybe could have gone better.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point we'll figure out if there's any blame to be laid or what we want to do moving forward about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for now, honestly, it was pretty cool, actually. Quite loved running away. Things were exploding behind us. Levi was ahead, blast a gun. Was honestly pretty epic, actually. And I think if I was going to die, that's how I'd want to do it. Yeah.
You can see Matchstick is looking at you and smiling and nodding, but you can see in his eyes he has no idea what you're talking about. He's just like, yeah, great. And every time he says something, his shoulders get higher and higher, and he's like, yeah, cool. Oh, wow, yeah, great. You guys sure know how to keep things
Party.
Yeah,
we know how to party.
Keep things party. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And he turns to a panel and starts beep, beep. He's like, yeah. So we should be relatively safe in a couple of minutes. Cool.
Luna claps him on the shoulder, and then settles into the pilot's chair.
Yeah.
The main pilot's chair.
Yeah, it feels real comfortable to be sitting.
And if there's nothing that needs doing, because Ginger's got this, she'll put her feet up on the dash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put your feet up and you can see at the front of the cockpit, you just see that endless expanse of space. Just
It's real pretty.
The absolute epitome of freedom.
Yeah.
Just nothingness out there. All that space. Yeah. Nice. Sib, are you doing anything before you head to the kind of central gathering area to wait for the message?
I think Sib, because she's a little bit strange and a little bit of an outsider on this crew.
Mm-hmm.
Not outsider, but she doesn't have her little place or whatever. She spends most of her time walking from room to room to kind of overhear or be part of what's happening in other places. So, so she walks into the kitchen right as, Vic's trying to hug Sid, nicks a little bit of food off the counter and just kind of grins as she sees that scene and walks down to the...
Sid has made what looks like cookies.
Yeah.
There's a plate of cookies.
Yeah. And so she just grabs some of that while he's not looking and wanders off, and she nibbles on it a little bit, but she breaks it into pieces and walks down into where the engine bay is and is listening to Levi slam crash bang, kind of be angry about nothing. But that's Levi, so she just kind of listens to that, giggles, and leaves a little bit of crumb kind of trail for the mongoose who she's desperately trying to make friends with. So she just kind of like leaves like a little a crumb thing there, and then sort of walks through to the cockpit and like looks at the crumb biscuit, realizes she can't feed a steel armadillo, like shrugs, just kind of pats it on its head, and listens to the whole "that's how I'd want to die" kind of conversation, and is like, yeah, that makes sense, and then sort of goes back to her cabin, like her little bunk area where she's
everyone's got crew quarters, so you have your own. Yeah, you have a room.
Yeah, she's got like little tapestry kind of stuff all over the walls, like very kind of hippie almost vibes, mystic wanderess situation. She starts writing in her journal where she's got like little entries that she's trying to figure out the crew, and she's like all these little pieces that she's seen and like noted, and she like notes it down, and then she notes down like, don't use that particular robot as a detonator because of the series detonation. Right. These are facts that are really good to know, because she's at heart, she's also an academic. So she wants to like capture some of the things that she's learned along the way so that she might be able to take that, somewhere and do something with it. But like, so she captures all of these little bits. She captures the crew like their characters or like their things to study, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's kind of what she's doing.
Yeah, awesome. There was a piece of this file that you were sent to find and send. There was a part of it, something you recognized something in terms of your previous research that you had been doing when you were younger, before you
nice.
parted ways with your family.
Yeah.
There was something else. What was that? Was it an image? Was it like a location? Just something, because you know Sib's research better.
Yeah, so it's probably a particular like, not quite an image, but like a rune almost, like a graphic symbol that appeared multiple times and seemed to relate to a name of something, but she's still not sure if it's like name of place or person or, but it comes up all the time and people refer to it as like important, and like, so she's still, every time she sees the symbol turn up, she's like, okay, there it is again. What is this thing? Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Right. So you settle in, and after a while, there is a shipwide notification that there is a message waiting for you, and you gather in the central part of the ship, and a hologram appears from one of the communicators, and you see your contact, and your contact was a member of the Lost Legion, who are a faction who used to be part of the hegemony and have split away and formed a rival faction. They are your quintessential rebels. They are like, they always have their finger on the pulse in terms of what the hegemony is doing, and they're always looking for ways to either undermine that or empower the people who are opposed to the hegemony's imperialistic ideas. So you see a dark-haired woman, and it looks like she has one of her eyes is cybernetic, and she only goes by the name 5. She told you that was her designation within the Legion. It's very 7 of 9 Borg kind of vibes, where everyone just gets a numerical designation, and as 5 appears on the communicator, you see her glance around. She's like, well done. Thank you very much for sending the information through. By my report, it seems it wasn't exactly the quietest exit from the situation, but you appear to be alive and the information is intact. So we are very appreciative. Thank you.
And we will be very appreciative with a full payment post-haste.
Indeed. Payment will be coming through any moment now. And you can see there's a notification, and your You have been given 2 credits. So in terms of what that might mean money-wise, that's up to you. But your ship now has 2 cred to spend on any kind of upgrades. And there's a moment where 5 says, it's been brought to our attention that there is an article within this piece of documentation that points to something outside of the hegemony. We are unsure what that might mean. So the Legion, along with a few other factions, have another request, if you are interested.
We're interested, like Sib says pretty much straight away, because she's interested.
We could wait to hear what it is.
Why?
Gotta do
We're not
something.
going to stop Sib from whatever comes next. We've tried before.
Like we need to keep moving, so whatever the next job is just helps put a little distance between our last known position and the next. So I'm with Sib.
And let's be honest, we love sticking it to the hegemony. I mean, am I right, guys? I mean, it's kind of what we live for.
There's a moment where there's like a small smirk on 5's face, which he says, "Excellent. Well, we will arrange contact with someone in the Ashtari Cloud, which is nearby your position. This will also be a fortuitous place for you to implement any upgrades or changes or modifications to your vessel should you need it. But we have reason to believe that the Imperium itself is stepping outside of its usual mode of operation in terms of being the coldly analytical war machine that it is. There are reports of some kind of discovery of an esoteric nature. Normally, this would be relegated to other more religious or spiritual parts of the hegemony, but for some reason, the imperial arm of the hegemony seems to have some sort of interest. Of course, immediately this would suggest that perhaps they've encountered some sort of weapon or some sort of ability to increase their potential for violence and for damage across the system. But it is very unlikely for this part of the Imperium to be this interested in something of this nature. We have contacts throughout the verse, and there is one in the Ashtari Cloud at the moment, hidden at the cove, that we can connect you to, who will have more information. Ideally, what we need to know is exactly what it is and why the Imperium is looking for it, because if it is important to them, there's a good chance they probably should not have it.
You have any intel on what sort of resources the Imperial has leveraged to this cause, whatever this discovery is? I mean, what's the heat? What kind of heat are we looking at here, 5?
At the moment, a large portion of the Imperium is currently involved in some other extracurricular activities in different systems. So this has caught the attention of their research and development arm, which would suggest a very large budget, as I'm sure, and she pointedly looks at the twins, I'm sure some of you know. There are a large amount of resources dedicated to that part of the Imperium alone. So I would suggest that discretion is the better part of valor until we find out exactly what it is that they have found.
Arcane, esoteric knowledge. I mean, are we interested in that kind of thing, Sib?
And Sib just looks at you with the hungriest look you've ever seen. just like desperately hungry. Yes.
I think that's a yes, 5. I mean, I don't want to speak for the twins, but
We're in.
there you have it.
Levi just reaches into his pocket and like feeds a little bit of jerky to Tavi sitting up on his shoulder. Can we just get moving now? Do you remember how to use the map, Luna?
Yes.
You see 5 is like, very well. I will have the information sent your way. It will include the name of your contact, the area where you will meet them.
And
But
anything
the rest,
you found about the, anything you determined about the report, right?
yes, we will send that information along as well.
Thank you.
Hey, 5.
Yes, Vic.
You doing okay?
You see, she stares like very intently with her cybernetic eye. Yes.
Everything okay? You seem extraordinary chill tonight.
I'm merely trying to maintain a level of professionalism that is expected within the Legion.
I mean, I was not doing a very good job, but trying to make a joke at your consistent stoicism that you display every single time we've talked to you. A little bit of enthusiasm would be so appreciated. I mean,
It is
you are
just
taking on.
slow. Yeah, like there's just
Yep.
nothing, right? Like just
Yeah.
nothing.
Yep.
It's nothing there.
My role is to provide you with information and to ascertain whether or not your results are worthy of compensation. That is my job.
Very actuarial of you, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much. I tried.
Excellent.
I know.
Well, if there is nothing else, I will leave you to it. I look forward to any information you can send our way. There's a moment
As the
like-
communication shuts off,
Yeah.
Levi just turns to Vic. Vic, it doesn't matter if the jobs come through on a carved stone tablet or with a full song and dance number, as long as the jobs keep coming and they pay us for it. Not
I mean,
everyone needs to be your friend.
You're not wrong
They
about
just
that.
need to be reliable.
I just want to see people happy, and take a moment to acknowledge the good work that we're doing. I mean, we're making a difference. A big difference. A huge difference. Am I right, guys?
And, like you look over at Sib and she's now like drawing the same like symbol over and over again on a piece of paper, like in a journal. It's like big and then there's little versions, and she's like, we finally, I will finally find out. And then she just kind of runs off.
Did any of
Levi-
that make
Levi
sense
stands
to
up.
you?
Levi stands up. I'm gonna turn up the air filters because Vic just cannot stop doing this. And as he's walking back, he leans into Sib's room and goes, as an academic, you should probably know that Tavi's an obligate carnivore, so cookies aren't going to do it for him. But
She like
Nice try.
sighs
and then
heavily.
heads on.
Right on. Okay, so now we are at a point where technically in the game, this would be considered downtime. So you have, in terms of downtime, you have 2 downtime actions. One of those you can use to increase stuff about the ship. Another one of those is also you can use to either, based on previous performance in the job, you would assign XP to your character or to your skills. But for now, because you've just got 2 creds, you can buy some stuff for the ship if you want, or if you would like to basically try and spend one of those. You could spend one of those creds to upgrade your crew quality, or you could use one of them to upgrade, essentially mark 1 crew XP if you want.
Any strong feelings from the team here?
I mean, you already, Sid and Vic have been campaigning hard for
have.
medical bays and galleys.
Yeah,
Yep.
I feel like the campaigning has been quite,
What I mean, yeah, that's up to you as a group. Vic, Vic has established that both Sid and Vic have had words to the crew in terms of not necessarily standing on a soapbox with a sign, but more kind of like maybe it would be good to maybe have a dedicated kitchen and a med bay.
Like kitchen and med bay being separate at least.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one
yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
One of them being in a different place.
I would happily make a roll of some kind to see if I could sway perhaps my companions into making a decision to bring a galley into the mix here. Good food will go a long way for the crew. Happy workplace, high productivity, candlelit dinners. I mean, that might be a little bit too far, but you understand. Maybe some fresh bread.
And fresh food. Fresh. We won't have to deal with... These are actually surprisingly good.
You see, like, Sid is like leaning against the wall and he's like, of course they're good.
Levi's like, look, I'm happy to install a galley if it means that I can stop having to wonder where all of the like lost energy's going from the engine bay, because
So
you
true.
guys have been fucking with the insulation again.
Much more efficient. Absolutely. Efficiency is going to go right up. All your charts will have a line that goes like this way instead of this way. It'll be great.
Sid, Sid is
Your
leaning
mastery
against,
of mathematics is truly inspiring, Vic.
Sid is leaning against the wall and he just says, whatever you choose, I can work with whatever. Okay? Yes, having a galley would be nice, but nobody has started yet,
Sid,
so...
We talked about this, and we have to stand firm on this one.
I know, but sometimes you said we have to we'll go this way and then they come back that way and then you go
Sid
this
is
way
a
and then you
very
come back this way.
capable chef. We all know this. The food here has been absolutely fantastic given the facilities on hand. But think about the culinary adventures that we could take together. If only we would put together a very workable galley system. The food. Think of the food.
Yeah, Sib looks up from like the research that she's doing with the report that came through and stuff. Is like, yeah, that one. And then goes back.
Levi, Luna.
I can't stop thinking about noodles now, so I'm on board.
Nice. There is a point where Sid basically gets up off the wall and walks over to you, Luna, and places like a large hand on your shoulder, and he's like, I will make so many noodles.
Spicy noodles.
Spicy noodles, juicy noodles, all the noodles. Yes. I also make very serious sandwich, so if anyone wants to know, anybody needs one. Okay, you see him, he's like, excellent, good meeting, good chat. All right, I need to go pack up my things.
And that, my friends, is the power of organizing. I'm just talking to the rest of the crew. We did a great job. We stood firm. We said what we wanted. We negotiated well. This is all on you. This change is because of you. Well done. There you go.
Like Levi pulls his hand out of his pocket, and the steel cable around his arm just starts to unwind, and the forward end of it pops up into Cobra's hood. And he just puts his hand down to the ground, and Naga slinks off into the shadows, into the walls, to start sorting out where the PowerPoints are going to be installed and where the joints and that are, so that he can start cutting in and getting the galley installed.
Nice. Cool. The galley will be installed once you dock in the cove in the Ashtari Cloud. So yeah, you can definitely get stuff sorted now. Cool. So you're gonna buy a galley. Anything else? You got one more piece of cred. You can buy more modules and upgrades. You can also improve the quality of the things you already have. Or you can change the crew so you can get more crew members.
I was thinking last time though that we didn't take the weapon like targeting system, so we have weapons, but we'll have to manually target. So we could do an auto targeting system.
Seems important.
Hey, it's up to you.
Very on board with that.
I mean, it's a nice balance of sort of like insane levels of violence combined with like really good food.
Really good.
Yes.
I think coming together, there's a balance there, you know, right, Sid?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't
The whole-
balance kind of like the whole thing with the way and like kind of staying in the groove kind of thing?
He like leans around the door and he's like, balance is important. Yes, you got the balance. Yeah, you balance the acid with the fat. Yes, it's about balance.
I think he meant me, hon.
Sid, I mean, we're all sort of part of the same fabric of
What?
life.
I can't hear you. The robot snake is chewing through the floor.
Yeah. What do we
Wait, so
think?
you're gonna
Is
buy a
that
targeting computer?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
cool?
How we're making decisions like a real crew.
A half unionized crew.
Hey, look, guys, perfect. All right, so you get a lot more information through. So you are going to arrive in an area known as the Cove, and the Cove is your classic like smuggler's hideout.
Cool.
The Ashtari Cloud is a nebula, but it's not a nebula made out of space parts. It's a nebula made out of spaceship parts. Some large, impossibly large ship was rent asunder, and the parts of that ship now are large enough to form some sort of nebula. It makes communication almost impossible to get in and out because of the inherent reflection from the parts of the ship. Navigation is really difficult for larger ships and vessels especially. So it's become a wonderful place of haven for folks who don't always want to be that accessible, if that makes sense. It very quickly came under the control of a faction known as the Maelstrom, who are literally space pirates. The Cove is, for want of a better term, the Cove is like Space Tortuga. Yeah. So
Now
there
you're talking
are-
my language.
Yeah, so there are space pirates there. Because your crew, you have some black market contacts, you can get in and out of the Ashtari Cloud really quickly, and you have access codes to the Cove. Everyone who goes there has to pay their respects, either fiscally or through some other means, to the Pirate Queen Alanda, the Banshee, as she is known, who is tough and violent and is a real stickler for enforcing the idea of some sort of space pirates code for anyone who follows her, and has such a burning hatred for the hegemony. It's remarkable. I think because of how much she hates the hegemony, that's why she's been alive for so long. You know, like there have been other people who stood up to the hegemony and to the Imperium and have suddenly disappeared, but the Banshee seems to be a constant thorn in their side. To be fair, she's a thorn in the side of anyone who thinks that she's not allowed to do what she wants. So, as proud and as demanding and ruthless as she is, there is a sense of honor with the Banshee. So the Cove functions, if that makes sense. You are the contact you're going to meet is actually not a member of the Lost Legion. They are a member of the Starless Veil, which is again a different faction from the Lost Legion. but you're on relatively friendly terms with the Starless Vale. Yeah, there they are. Excellent. Their name is Darian, and you are going to be meeting them. You are going to be meeting them at your classic dive bar, just called the Rusty Barrel. The Rusty Barrel.
Classy.
Yep. They are going to meet you there, and you have been sent through. They will be waiting for a passcode, and the passcode that you will have to give to them is the duck treads water in the winter. And his reply will be, but only the real ducks.
Sorry.
That's, yeah?
Made me giggle.
Now, did five come up with this passcode? Because if 5 actually has a sense of humor, I am going to be blown away. Like, that is the best news that I've heard all day, aside from us being alive after all the explosives. Because that's pretty good.
I mean, but you're not sure. It doesn't say who is the author of this information. You just know that this information is coming from the Lost Legion.
And we know it's legit because there are ducks involved.
Yeah, that's how you know. So in this, oh yeah. Right on. Because you're still in the Rin system, so there is a chance that the heat from the last job you did might follow you to the cove. So there is, based on how our engagement roll goes, which we'll get into soon, may dictate how it is that you encounter Darian. So, for those who don't know how the Forge in the Dark system works, now comes a chance where the crew gets to decide what approach they want to take. Which is that? It's not in the reference thing I sent you, so let me find it for you. So the crew gets to figure out what kind of approach they want to make. I don't dictate how the missions are going to go. I just tell them that their role is to find Darian in the Rusty Barrel and get the information about what the Imperium wants, and then get that information out. And based on how the based on how the engagement roll goes, that will dictate what kind of position and effect the crew arrives into. And position is the crew's amount of risk that they are inherently in, and the effect is what is going to happen should their rolls succeed or fail. So a lot of the rolling is essentially us setting up narrative hooks for us as a team of storytellers to improv our way into these scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So the mission,
Cool.
as it stands, is to make contact with Darian and exchange passcodes and get information.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And touch base with the Banshee.
Pay homage to the
Hey,
Can't go to the
tribute.
cove without touching base with the Banshee.
That's right.
Mhm.
You got to pay the toll.
The question is, which base?
Levi needs to see the Banshee as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Luna loves the Banshee.
Excellent. I'm just going to write that down. Luna loves the Banshee.
Sounds like such a good band name for some reason.
It sounds like Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah, it
Luna
does.
loves the Banshee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more Banshees in bands, please. So So now you have 6 options in terms of how you as a crew want to attack this job. You have the assault option, where you do violence to a target, and the detail you have to work out is the point of attack. Or you could take the deception approach, where you lure, trick, or manipulate, and the detail you have to figure out is the method of deception that you're going to take. The infiltration, trespassing unseen, and find the detail is the point of infiltration that we try and figure out. There is the mystic approach, where you engage either your mystic, or you could use the way, or any of the powers, the same kind of pseudo magical science that empowers robots and the semi-sentient robots that exist in this universe. There's the social approach, which is to negotiate, bargain, or persuade, which seems very is very much heading towards where this job is, but you don't have to choose that idea. There's also the transport approach, where you carry cargo or people through danger. So what kind of approach do you think you want to take?
I mean, Levi's got to touch base with the Banshee anyway in a semi-social, semi-professional manner. So he's pushing for social.
Yep. Yeah. Now, are you going to? So if we say then that the social connection, that's our detail, that's our point of entry. Are you going to visit the Banshee first or after? Because once you land, you don't leave until you've seen the Banshee. And that
Look,
can be whenever.
if you guys want to go and catch up with this Darien fella, and I can go and make our obeisances to the Banshee, that'll be fine. I can catch up with you at the Rusty Bucket after I've made sure that we're all good being in the cove. That works for you guys?
I mean, it seems reasonable, but suspicious in some regards. But I'm never one to butt into your business, Levi. You have your reasoning for what you do. I can't even begin to understand how that mind works, because that mind is beautiful and intricate and unique.
I swear, if you touch my face, Vic, we're going to have to send you to the med bay.
Duly noted. Look, we do have some spare medical supplies. I mean, I know that they do have some very rudimentary social systems in place for some of the less fortunate folks that live here. I'd be happy to set up a little bit of a distraction and help out some of the folks. I mean, I am, as you can see, I do have a stethoscope. I am a medical trained doctor.
Well, how about this then? How about Vic, you come with me, and Luna and Civ, you guys can go and find this Darien fella at the Rusty Bucket.
Ooh, girls trip!
Boys?
Luna winces slightly, but she's like, yeah.
Come on, this Rusty Bucket sounds amazing. Do you think they're gonna have cocktails? She's just like.
As soon as
I actually heard that they started serving one a little while ago called the Dregs. It'll change your life.
Yep, the Dregs. Yeah.
Let's go to the Rusty
and
Bucket.
Levi gives
two
Luna
drinks.
this very telling look, being like, "We both know what the Dregs are, and the Dregs is the outpour tray from the taps."
Avoid the
But also,
but it is alcoholic. It is a combination of drinks. It qualifies as a cocktail.
Yeah, in the barest sense, but yeah, it is indeed.
Ticks all the boxes for a cocktail.
Yeah.
It's liquid. Well, mostly liquid.
Yeah, exactly. For anyone who was around in New Zealand and Wellington a few years ago, there was a bar called Mighty Mighty, and they served box wine for like a couple of bucks, and it was just called Shut Up and Drink It. And it was.
You thought that was bad? Hole in the wall that was serving the actual dregs for $1 a pint. Oh,
yeah, $1
amazing.
a pint. Yeah. Anyway, so now we have figured out what we're going to do. So now it comes to the engagement roll. So now we start to build a dice pool to see how we can roll for this. Now we automatically start with 1 dice, 1d6 for this roll. Now we can add advantages or disadvantages based on certain things. So, is anything about this operation particularly bold or daring?
Doesn't feel bold.
Do we
No,
get
it
to
doesn't
just
feel
kind
like
of
it.
can we just kind of justify what we like in this section?
Sure. Yeah. Because also,
I-
if the operation is overly complex or contingent on many factors, you remove 1 dice.
Oh.
Another one is, does the plan's detail expose the vulnerability of the target? Or is the target strongest against this approach? Do you have any contacts that might aid, or are any rivals interfering with this? And are there any other elements that you might want to consider? So yes, absolutely, you all can justify how you think you might add these dice or take away those dice. I would suggest that the vulnerability of the target, because this is information that is going to slow down the hegemony, you could argue that that is 1 extra dice.
I do love that, like, as bold and brassy as I'm pretending to be, both Sibylla and Luna are being searched for. Like, so if we just walk out down this gangplank and walk into a bar, like, we are putting ourselves technically at risk, because there are people out there, not as many people looking for Sibylla as there are for Luna, but you know.
You've encountered bounty hunters before, and a number of them do frequent the cove.
Yeah.
And we are
So-
we are a bit of a known quantity around the galaxy.
Yep, you already have a reputation for being daring and weird.
I was also going to say, I feel like Luna and Sybil off to a bar by themselves together, it feels a little daring, you know.
Yeah, good point.
That's true.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
very daring if the rest of the crew to let us do this, frankly.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I was going to say, you could argue that it's daring to split the party.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. So that's already at 2 dice. Are we
Look,
going to like?
there are some conversations that Levi needs to have that he doesn't want his sister around for.
Does the plan expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them with the weakest? I mean, I would push towards that, saying yes.
Yeah, I mean, if they are
Yep.
trying to stay hidden, and just get us the information quick and get out, you
Yep.
know, yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Nice. So, could any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Or do you have any enemies or rivals who may interfere?
I have a feeling that that Stev, my rival, if he was going to show up anywhere on a day that I didn't want him to show up, it would be in the cove on the day that I needed to get in and out of there as quickly as possible.
Yes, Stev, the gambler of ill repute.
Indeed.
Yes.
Look, gamblers going to gamble. They're going to go where the game is. And pirates have always got money floating around to be gambled.
Okay.
That'd be
So-
my feeling.
So,
And admittedly, I understand that is something of a negative input on the job.
tis.
So if anybody's got like an upshot they could find, that'd be ideal.
What do we know about this Darien, other than their name? Do we have any sort of a description? Do we have?
They're a member of the Starless Veil, which are literally the spy faction. So they are
All right.
counterintelligence spies. So they only exist to extract and share information about everyone to everyone. So they don't have allies, but they also don't have enemies. They're in that horrible gray area. They're not quite information brokers like the shadow brokers are in this game. They're spies.
So chances are that when we show up at the Rusty Bucket, that
The rusty barrel, actually. I
Rusty
just keep
barrel?
calling it bucket because I
Rusty
think it's
barrel.
funny.
I wrote down the rusty bucket.
The rusty,
Yeah, so
the
did
rusty
I.
bucket. No,
It's
it's the
the
I
rusty
got
bucket.
Rusty Barrel.
We'll make it. We'll make it rusty bucket.
So when we show up at the Rusty Bucket, there's a great chance, or when Sib and Luna show up, there's a good chance that Darian's going to already know that you're there with the knowledge
Probably.
that they have, right?
Yeah.
That is his job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So like even coming up to us isn't going to be easy, or like where we're going to meet. Could I maybe hedge a thing? Like we walk into the bar, we make a little spectacle of ourselves, and I talk about out loud how I need to go get supplies from Hicks, and then walk out, hoping that they would follow me. And Hicks is like more of a discreet place, so then I could say Hicks is here. Their little mystic store gathery point. I don't know what they have.
And incense and crystals.
I'm just kind of imagining a store now. Like, I don't know if it was more of a caravan or a ship. Maybe it's a ship.
Well, Hex is a mystic
it could still be all
supplier,
three.
So yeah.
Wait,
could be all
you're
three.
going to Hex's. I've got a list. If you don't mind just picking up a few things for me,
Yeah.
that would be wonderful.
Well, because I wondered if, like, we could just be like, need to go here. I hear they're in town. Thought I might hit up the ship, and just kind of, like, wander out, knowing that would be a more secure place to meet, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So
But it's
we've
getting
got
more complicated, I know.
1,
Sorry.
2, 3. So far you've got 3 dice that you're rolling.
Now, I have one thing that Vic is I've already alluded to the fact that Vic is sort of working on PR right now for our crew and our ship by doing some community service, providing some medical attention, but also gathering information in terms of the maybe the presence of Imperial spies, because he's most concerned. He knows that Sib and Luna are extremely capable at what they do. He knows that Levi is extremely capable at what he does. What he's concerned about is their exit strategy. And so he wants to know what kind of heat to expect so that he can warn the crew on what might go down. So he'll be trying to gather intel during this sort of like medical outreach.
Awesome. Okay. Well, then let's say it's 1:30. So let's take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll dive into the engagement role, and then head off into the mission. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right on.
All right. We'll be back in
Excellent,
just a couple minutes, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Great to see you all.
Okay, welcome back to Scum and Villainy. We are about to finalize our engagement roll to figure out what kind of position the characters will be in when they head into the cove to not only meet with Darian, their contact from the Starless Vale, but also to meet and pay tribute to the Banshee, the pirate queen of the cove herself. Now, again, this is kind of this is like a linked mission. So currently you're rolling 3d6s to figure out what kind of position you will start this in. But Em, I believe you had some other
Yes.
possible options.
I reckon Luna's been to the Rusty Bucket. I reckon Luna's spent a relatively significant amount of time there. I think we as a crew have been to the cove before,
Yep.
but Luna's definitely frequented the majority of the bars.
Sure,
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So what specifically about your time, your prior knowledge of the cove or the Rusty Bucket, how do you think that would help?
I'm thinking that you said earlier you reckon that the Rusty Bucket's a place where people kind of keep to themselves.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that having been in there a number of times and being a mildly recognizable face, that people might just leave us completely alone. In terms of like, you walk in and like we walk in and the owner isn't like, it's a completely new person who's never been here before. What the heck are you doing? Get out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So we'll say that you've had to stay kind of under the radar a couple of times. Yeah. So the bartender will be sympathetic towards making sure that you are not singled out at any point.
Sweet.
Right on. Okay, so that is 4d6.
Beautiful.
Now, one person can roll 4d6, or you all can roll one each. You only need to get 1 6 for it to be a critical success, which will put you in a controlled position, which is very good. A 4 to 5, if that is the highest you roll on any of those dice, that will put you in a risky position. And a 1 to 3 will put you in a desperate position where things will go wrong right off the bat.
I feel like we got it for the first one. We got to roll one each, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
All right. So
First dice.
yeah,
First
everybody
dice.
gets
dice.
to play.
Let's have everybody roll a d6 for me, and we'll see how we go.
Oh my god.
How dare you?
I like that we all just made dramatic noises, but
everyone was
nobody
like,
said anything.
Okie dokie. So do we have 1s and 3s? Anyone got 1s and 3s?
I have a 1.
You've got a 1?
I have a
Okay.
1.
Okay. All right. Did anyone get a 4 or 5?
I got a 5.
Got a 5?
4.
You got a 4? Jules?
Come on, Jules,
I got
baby.
a 6.
You got a 6? Yes!
Yes.
All right. It's an exceptional result. So, okie dokie. Well, then, in that case, we will dive straight into, smash, cut, whip, pan, crash, zoom into the next scene, which is we see the fire jet flying into the cove. We cut to the galley being installed. You see engineers and technicians standing with Sid, going over plans and kind of figuring out where everything's going to be installed. Then we see Levi and Vic. You are about to be ushered into the kind of the meeting room, the personal meeting room of the Banshee, and Sib and Luna. Not only have you entered the Rusty Bucket and relatively clandestinely, but the bartender has seen Luna and given Luna a nod and has actually ushered you into a very private booth.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice.
So, with an exceptional result, you've already overcome the first obstacle, which would have been dealing with the Banshee security and getting to the bar unnoticed. So you've already achieved that. We see two different scenes now, and because they're linked, we're going to have to play them one at a time. I can choose which scene goes first, or is there any particular meeting the Banshee or meeting the contact that you would like to run first?
Yeah, you go. You choose.
Go for your
Let's
life,
choose.
Alan.
Okie
Yeah.
dokie.
Go on, Alan.
Okie dokie. So let's go with meeting the Banshee first. So Vic and Levi, you are ushered into and presented with a very, very fine-looking drawing room or meeting room, or like a, there is a large wooden, you assume, wooden table. It looks like it's been hewn from petrified wood. It almost looks like it's stone. And upon that table are various refreshments, food, drinks. There are a number of very comfortable looking chairs. And you can see in a large, ostentatious throne seated on one side of this kind of, it's not an oval, the table is more of like an oblate spheroid, but seated at one side in the in a very, very ostentatious throne is the Banshee. And you see a very, the probably the most terrifying thing about her is the fact that the moment you entered the room, you felt inexplicably drawn to looking into her eyes. You're not sure why, but when you walked in, you kind of took notice of the room, but something in the back of your mind like really made you want to look at her. And you see a relatively tall woman in very fine practical clothes, so no flowing dress. Like you've kind of, you've interrupted some royalty before, and it's nothing like that. She is wearing very practical leather boots. You see a number of small blades within those boots. She's wearing leather pants and a white shirt that has a bodice kind of corseted around her midsection. She is festooned in jewelry, and her wild kind of black hair, it's the front of it has been held back by a makeshift crown, and she stares at you with these golden eyes that almost look iridescent in the low ambient light of this room. And as you are ushered in, you stare at her, and she almost looks through the two of you, and she looks at you and says, "Welcome back to the Cove. It is nice to see you again."
Good to see you, Banshee. And Levi puts his right hand down on the table, and Naga just slips down onto it. What's your poison today? And staring into her eyes, but mentally running Naga's looking to pick up one of the plates and just move it towards her end of it. And so what I'm trying to do is almost read those non-verbal responses as Naga moves from plate to plate, looking for what she would appreciate.
You're looking into her eyes, and she is looking straight at you, Levi. Vic, she's also looking straight at you somehow. But
She's dreamy.
As Naga moves around the table, there are moments where Naga almost pauses at certain fruits and certain kind of cured meats on the charcuterie board, and there is a point where there is a subtle nod from the Banshee, and eventually Naga kind of assembles a plate and moves on over. The Banshee lowers a hand down for the plate. Has the Banshee ever handled Naga before?
I mean, the Banshee knows that Naga is my drone. She knows that it's effectively me at a distance. As to whether or not she's handled Naga before, not to my memory, but by that same token, it's like the feedback from Naga to me is imperfect. You know, like I can see what it sees, I can hear what it hears.
Yeah,
but
sure.
beyond that, it's like I can get it to influence small things about the environment around it, but like I can't feel what it feels.
The Banshee takes the plate and passes it to her other hand, and holds her hand out again to Naga, and looks down at Naga and just says, "Hello, my beauty." Do you allow Naga to move on to her hand?
Naga's quite happy to, you know, coil her way up.
Sure.
Banshee's
Naga slides onto her hand and calls around, and there's a moment where, for the first time, the Banshee's attention has been pulled away from the both of you. And she sits there and looks at Naga as Naga kind of curls around, and she stares like straight at, and you, with your connection to Naga, you can feel that she's looking directly at Naga. And
so my question there, given that Naga's like diagnostic sensory array is in her Cobra hood, can I read anything off? Like, is there anything kind of technological going on with Banshee within Naga's sphere of like?
There is a Naga is being scanned, for want of a better term. Like it's not a pair of organic eyes that are looking at Naga. And Naga registers that there is a signal there is a probing signal that is encountering Naga's senses. And Naga interprets that, and you reinterpret it through Naga's kind of diagnostics, that there is this sense of incredible like avarice in the Banshee's eyes when she looks at Naga. And she just looks at her and she's like, "You are glorious." And with like a really almost a sinister smile, the Banshee turns back to you, Levi, and says, "I assume this is my payment?"
Well, as much as I would love to give you my drone, we thought we might see if we could arrange something in kind. Look, if a drone like Naga is something that you're looking for, I can probably put something like that together. I might have to pick up a couple of materials from some of the suppliers around here, but it shouldn't take me too long. But that one, the software package is queued specifically to my implants, and look, it took me 3-4 weeks to get that dialed in, so I don't want to try and palm off something that's going to be a hassle for you. I'd rather give you a clean slate to operate with. You know, maybe make something that is slightly more aligned with your practical implementation of it, I guess, because Naga helps me around the ship, and you know, that's kind of her job.
The Banshee looks at Naga again and almost conspiratorially brings her close and says, "He is such a funny creature. He thinks what I want is the technology. No. It is because she is something of great value to you. There is a part of you inside her. So perhaps, really, what I want is you, Levi."
I mean, I'm flattered, Banshee, but sort of a little. I have responsibilities at the moment that I need.
If I may, Banshee, your eminence. If you think deeply enough about it, and you look to me like you are the deepest of thinkers, quite frankly. We're all a little bit a part of each other. I mean, we all originate from the stardust beyond the galaxies, we come together. The electrons of our cells interact with each other in strange, mystical, and exotic ways. Right now, just you gazing upon me has me extremely aroused. Did I just say that out loud? My point is, we are all really part of the same thread that ties and weaves the universe together. So, in essence, you already have a bit of Levi inside you. Did I say that out loud too? I'll be over here.
He's
Sure.
actually pretty good at the medical stuff. The talking, he tries.
So can both of you give me some sort of resolve roll? It could be sway, it could be consort. Basically, as far as you know, you two are the first two people to ever deny the Banshee what she wants. And you're not sure if she's testing you or if she legitimately just wants to enslave you. You've found yourselves in a position where, like, you have come to pay tribute to the Banshee, and you have yet to present what your tribute is, other than her having Naga in her hand. But it's obvious. I mean, it's the Banshee. You've got to give her something. And whether or not she has just flat out said she just wants you, you're not sure.
I was just getting to something as well, and I'm going to open up I have like this old school like pharmacy like physician's bag, tote, and I like open up, and there's a virtual cornucopia of pharmaceutical type of substances in there, and I said I did bring something extremely special for you, your awesomeness. And so I'm going to start pulling out a couple of jars and set them down and pull one back, put it back in the tote. And then I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to just start sprinkling them onto a large rolling paper, different substances. And I'm measuring them out with like a little spoon and getting just the perfect amounts. And then I'm going to just sort of my hands shaking a little bit as I twist this thing up. And
He also makes drugs in the kitchen on the ship.
And I will set it on the
Some of them he
table
grows in the walls.
I'll just kind of give it a little bit of a flick so it just rolls across the table towards her. Something very special. I recommend you take it when you are looking to relax and don't need to make a bunch of really serious decisions for, I would say, maybe 3 to 4 hours.
Right on. There is a so yeah. Give me either I'd say that's probably a sway roll. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Give me a sway roll. I'm gonna say that this is a pretty controlled position that you're in. It's not risky. Unless of course you roll a 1, but you are in a controlled position, and should you succeed, you're pretty certain the Banshee will be absolutely fine. She may even help you out a little bit. But yeah, if you fail, you may have to push or try a different approach.
All right, I have 2 dice in sway, so I'm going to go ahead and make that roll.
Yep.
Ooh. I rolled a 3 and a 1.
So that is a fail. So there is a moment where so you can either choose to withdraw and try a different approach, or you can roll again and turn it into a risky situation, a risky position. But at this point, the Banshee looks at Naga and looks down, and she says, "Well, Victor, it is very nice of you to offer me something like this, but why wouldn't you offer me the formula so I can produce it myself?"
Oh,
As she says this, I just step forward and like put my hand over Vic's mouth. Look, I'm really sorry about him. His experimentation in the kitchen's cooked his brain. We're not here for long. We're here to have a conversation, do some quick refitting. I need to pick up some supplies. We're in and out. We're just looking for a quiet place. We're not trying to intrude or impose on your hospitality. We were hoping to perhaps exchange some services in kind. This is why I brought the medical dipshit. I imagine that there's one or two members of your crew or some of the fine members of your community here who could maybe do with some medical attention. And I mean, you're relatively familiar with my work when it comes to fixing or making things technological, so that's the best offer we've got. Look, keep whatever it is that he's made you there. That's your business, but we're not going to pretend like that was any kind of offering for your hospitality here.
I am going to remove quickly your hand from my mouth, Levi, and I'm going to say, actually, what Levi doesn't understand is that this is a very ancient recipe that was handed down through generations, and I would be happy to discuss the finer elements of how it can expand the mind into other realms beyond that which we can simply see or touch. But that may be for another time.
So the Banshee stands up out of the throne. She releases Naga to the table and moves forward and picks up the pharmaceuticals that you have prepared. And she says, very well. I have someone who is in need of some medical attention. If Vic, you would be so kind as to administer aid to them, I will take that as appropriate tribute and give you free passage.
Sounds wonderful. I even brought my stethoscope, so I'm ready to go.
Good. How else would anyone know?
Excellent. Vic, do you want to... I'm sorry, Banshee, have you got someone that can show Vic to his patient? I've just got a couple of quick things to sort out here. Vic, I'll see you at the Rusty Bucket in a few.
Excellent. She waves over one of her attendants who takes Vic to another room, and she turns back to you, Levi, and she's like, yes?
I've kind of I've run out of supplies. And look, I already took a look at what Vic can do. He can't help me. So I'm back at the source. I need to pick some up. It's starting to get a little itchy.
Very well. Of course, Levi, I can supply whatever you need, but I don't think Vic's services will cover that.
No, I didn't expect they would, but it's my monkey, so it's my debt to carry. That's why I'm having the conversation with you and not with him around at the same time.
Excellent. Well, and you see that she looks over to, there's a large window that looks out over a large portion of the cove. And she turns back to you and she's like, walk with me, Levi, and heads to the window. And she says, I understand you and your companion will be heading to the Rusty Bucket after this. If you could stop off on the way and see to a piece of surveillance equipment that requires some repairs, I would be very appreciative.
I mean, my skills are yours to command. There isn't any possibility of maybe getting one vial against the, whatever you deem. Just hands are starting to shake a little bit.
And she heads to a looks like a almost like a bureau, and touches a panel on the front of it, and a drawer, like a small drawer, like slides out, and there are a collection of vials, shall we say, of different hues. She takes out, she reaches in and takes out 2, and walks over and hands you 2 of them. And says, "Here you are."
Banshee, it would be my absolute pleasure to fix this surveillance equipment that you need sorting out. And you see him like tuck one of them into a little pocket and then feed the other one to Naga. You can hear like a little crunching inside as Naga like slides up his arm and bites him on the side of the neck. I'll go get that sorted out right away. That is not a problem at all.
Excellent. Once you have completed this little task for me, I will have a few more of these sent to your ship.
Always a pleasure, Banshee. It's wonderful to see how you're keeping the place. You take care of yourself. Those eyes are something special, they are.
I always take care of myself, for sure. And should you ever want to spend an extended period of time here, especially Naga, you are always welcome. There is a heavy, like, undertone to that sentence that you are not entirely sure you're comfortable with.
I mean, I appreciate the offer, but for the moment, I gotta heed the moon's call, Banshee. That's what I gotta do. The moon carries me, and I follow where she takes me.
Very well. Well, good luck.
And then I'll head off and shoot towards whatever it is she needs fixed.
Yeah, nice. Vic, you are shown into a room with a looks like almost like a street ganger. Like his clothing is all kind of mismatched. He is currently like biting on like a piece of wood in an incredible amount of pain. A bunch of people are holding him down. His left arm has been reduced to like shreds of like just meat and tubes, and they're holding him down. And one of the guys who's holding him down like looks up at you and is just like, "Are you the stethoscope? Okay, can you you gotta help this guy."
Yep. Let me take a look.
Can you make a doctor check for me, please?
I would love to make a doctor check.
This is a risky position. If you fail, this guy's gonna die, and it ain't gonna be good for you.
All right, I'm gonna use some different dice on this one. Here we go.
Yep. So you have 2 dice. Remember, you have gambits. For those who don't know, gambits are an extra resource that anyone in the crew can use at any time for any of their roles.
And how many of those do we have?
According to the ship, you have 2 gambits.
Okay, so those can be used. Okay, all right. All right, I'm gonna roll. I have 2 dice in doctor.
Yep. So make a doctor check. Only one of those needs to be a 6.
5 and a 6.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
So,
well, son, you want the
So-
good news or the bad news?
he's just like, his eyes, like one of them is like staring at you. The other one appears to be like somehow just rolling around in his head. This guy is not in good shape.
I'm gonna put my finger on his rolling eye and just kind of stop it from rolling. Look at me. Calm. The good news is
like, you can see like the veins, like the capillaries in his eyes are like.
The good news is you're gonna live. You're gonna live. He's gonna live.
He's like.
Bad news is the arm not salvageable. You're gonna have to take this up with I don't know, OSHA or however this happened. You're gonna need a synthetic arm. Might cost a little bit of money, but my job is done here, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna take my stethoscope and my pharmacopoeia, and I'll be on my way. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. You. To be fair, you do an incredible job. Like you. Not only do you alleviate his pain, but you also kind of deal with the arm in a way that you pretty much amputate most of the problem area and like get it prepped and ready to go. And he seems, and the agents who the people who are with you look at you and they're like, "Yeah, nice work, Doc. Yeah, well, right on. Okay."
Make sure he gets some antibiotics and some rest,
Mm-hmm.
fluids. Stay out of trouble,
the
guys.
guy
Come
who's
on,
talking
stay
to
out
you,
of
he's
trouble.
like, yeah, absolutely. You see the guy behind him is like, what? Like the other guys in the room are like, what is he talking about? You're not sure this guy's going to get any further medical attention from these guys, but he's alive. Yep. Nice. Okie dokie. So now we'll cut to the rusty bucket. The rusty bucket, a dimly lit mishmash of themes and aesthetics. In one corner of the bar is a stage set up for a band, complete with like metal grate cage. There are stains on the floor that are probably blood, maybe, who knows. Some you weren't sure blood could go that color, but maybe it does here. There are groups. You can see groups of people huddled around tables. There is a obvious like biker gang of just burly dudes with like tattoos on their arms, wearing battle vests, and they've got black jeans, and they're kind of sitting holding these. You assume it's just like beer or something. Every now and then, like they'll mutter to something to each other. You see a lot of people by themselves who are very pointedly ignoring everyone else in the room. And Luna, you have been shown to a private booth, and the bartender, a human man with like a looks like he's got like a man bun that's being held together by just a spike of metal. You've seen him murder people with that spike before. But he kind of sits you down and he's like, yeah, there you go. If you need anything.
Before you go, I heard that you have a new cocktail, something called the Drinks. And Sevilla looks excited.
Instantly looks at Luna with like a raised eyebrow. He's like, yep, yeah, we got it. You want one?
I mean,
The lady would like one.
I'll give anything a try.
Then the lady will get one. Okay. He returns after a few moments with a tall, it's in a tall glass, kind of curvy. What appears in front of you is this brownish purple swirling mix, and it smells heavily of like cherry, like kirsch, cherry syrup. There's a piece of fruit kind of suspended in it, and it's got a little paper cocktail umbrella and two straws. He's like, there you go.
Sevilla is delighted. She's absolutely delighted. She looks at Luna like, who knew in a place like this?
Who knew?
Who knew?
I'll get my usual.
He's like, all right. So you have your drinks. Sib, are you taking a sip?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking a sip.
Okay. I will need you to make a resistance roll.
That makes sense.
This is going to be a prowess roll. So how many dots or how many check marks do you have in your prowess?
I have a
In
one
the- in
in
the dark
scramble and a
column on the
one
left.
in skulk. So I have a 2, I guess.
Yes, you have 2. So roll 2d6.
Okay. All right, they're both 5s.
They're both 5s. So you suffer 6 stress minus the roll. So you suffer 1 piece of stress. As you swallow what can only be described as like you're pretty sure he just strained out the floor mat into a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. It smells like cherry and it tastes like feet. You know,
Amazing.
and not in a fun way. And it burns it burns all the way down. Yeah, like it's very alcoholic, very alcoholic.
Yeah.
Two of these would send you 3 sheets to the wind.
So,
Luna will slide across her beer and be like, just if you need a sip to chase that.
yeah, that was an experience. It's not one I want to repeat, but I'm glad I had it. And also, I feel like this could be really useful if we need to like set something on fire.
I like your thinking.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely flammable. Yeah, oh yeah.
So she just kind of like puts it to the side like it's a practical thing that she might use at some point. You know?
You know how sometimes you drink like terrible vodka and it just tastes like video head cleaner?
Yeah.
We've all
I'm
had video head
imagining
cleaner,
it's
right?
like that. Yeah. At some point in this conversation, she's probably going to accidentally forget and take another sip.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, looking around, you can see there are a number of people who you think could be some sort of informant. You didn't receive any images of Darian?
Did we receive a vague description of any sort?
No.
Cool.
No, just that
Cool.
Darian would meet you.
Makes total
in the
sense.
Rusty Boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Anyone
so,
looking
yeah.
at us?
There are 2 people looking at you.
Okay.
One is a gentleman who, when you catch his eye, Luna, he looks away and kind of like holds his drink closer and almost like turns himself away from you. And there is another point where you look over and you see sitting in the shadows, very, very much like Strider and Bree in the Prancing Pony. You see a pair of like you see like a reflective pair of glasses, and just the ember and the smoke of a cigarette as someone just stares at you and is like looking directly at you.
I will like wrap the table, and then like Sybil, I'm just gonna be right back. Yep. And I will approach.
That's okay. I think that guy's staring at us from over there, the one that was hugging his drink and like turning around. I'm like, hi.
Yeah, you wave at him. And
Amazing.
He like looks up and he kind of like. Did you see him turn around? It looks like he's having a conversation with himself. Like sips his drink.
Amazing. The person in the shadows. Are they like back to the? Is it possible to like walk near them without sitting down next to them?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're
And pretend to be throwing darts or something.
well, yeah.
or
On the
looking out a
wall,
window.
on the wall beside them,
Yeah.
there are some like community notices.
Beautiful.
A lot of
Beautiful.
it is just like people writing like Bertram's a skank, shit like that. So you head over.
I wander over and while, because I'm assuming there might be some cards there for community notices and maybe a pen.
Yeah.
I'll write Levi smells. And while I'm doing that,
Yeah, brilliant.
I will say quietly, the duck treads water in the winter. And see what I get back.
He takes another drag of a cigarette. Yeah, but only the real ones. And he like stamps out his cigarette and stands up and walks past you. And as he walks behind you,
Yeah.
he just says, "Wait in the booth. I'll see you in a couple of minutes."
Cool.
And then heads out the door.
Yeah, I tuck the community notice card up in the community notice. And I
Yeah,
want
Levi smells. Yeah,
Yep.
nice, awesome. Cool. Okay. Around about the time you get back to the booth, Sib, have you taken another sip, or you're all good for now?
I'm all good. good at the moment. Like
Yeah, sweet.
I've been like playing with the guy who's like having a conversation with himself.
Yeah.
Every time he stares back at me, I'm like peekaboo, you know, like
Yeah.
kind of. I'm imagining
yeah.
it's like got like curtains in the booth, and so I'm like poking my head out, being like, "Now you see me, now you don't.
Yeah,
now you see me," you know.
This poor guy is. Every time you pop out and see him, he just looks more and more just confused, and it seems to be scaring him how confused he is. But we'll say around about this time is when Levi and Vicky arrive at the Rusty Bucket. As you're heading in, Vic, your shoulder gets bumped by some dude in a coat with some glasses and a cigarette as he walks out past you, and he's like, "Sorry."
Whoa! It's all right. Hey, it's cool, man. It's cool.
He's
You
already
good?
gone. He's gone. He's not even.
So I'm assuming that I picked up this surveillance device on the way, and I'm just kind of being like tinkering with it. Bringing it back.
Yeah, the location you were sent to, you were handed it's a receiving device for some sort of tracking signal that is currently inoperable at the moment.
Yeah, so I've just kind of been like turning it over in my hands, sort of getting Naga to have a look at it. And as we walk in, I can see that there's a couple of circuits that I'd want to like air gap before I started working on it.
Yep.
Like, actually, it'd be really useful for this would be, hey, some cardboard. Wander over to the community notice board.
Yeah. There's a
And
fresh, crisp-looking piece of card that you notice.
Levi, what? Yank it off the board. Yeah, it's because I work for a living instead of sitting in a chair. Yelling across the bar.
It's like
again, Sibby pops her head out and is like, "Oh, the boys are here," and then pops her like. I'm imagining Luna and I are sitting in the booth at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Luna's like, I had guessed. I had guessed.
The biker gang like looks over at Levi and Vic who've walked in and just kind of look at you for a while.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah, there's three of these kind of biker gang dudes. They the smallest one looks the angriest, and they just kind of eyeball you as you walk. Vic, they look similar to the guy you worked on.
Mm-hmm. I'll just kind of nod as I'm walking by, just kind of give him a respectful sort of nod, and then I'll be like, there they are, and I'm gonna kind of very excitedly jump into the booth and sit down next to Sybil and be like, oh no, you didn't get the dregs, did you? Levi was messing with you, right?
No, but you should try it.
I'm good. I think I'll order a scotch. Thanks. Do you want me to get you one?
No.
Okay. Good luck with that. I do have something that I can give you tomorrow morning to help with the nausea and the headache, and the potential paralysis of your left index finger. Just let me know what you need.
Will it fix the fact that I don't think I'll ever taste anything again?
That I can't help you with, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like someone shot your tongue with a blaster.
I know.
Yeah. No, you're. I'm kidding. It'll come back. You'll eventually. It might take 3-4 years, but it's fine. You'll survive.
Luna did the thing, by the way.
Oh, good. I cut a guy's arm off, so there's that.
What?
I mean, it's a long story, but
I've been playing peekaboo with a guy. Look at this. Again and again. I'm like, again.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
You cut a guy's arm off?
As you pop out and look, you realize the guy was halfway across the room. You imagine he had like plucked up the courage to come over, And as you pop out, he sees the occupied booth, and immediately is like, does a hard veer off, and like tries to head out of the.
I'm like,
As
that's
he does.
disappointing. I really
Yeah.
thought he was going to come over.
No, as he does, he's so petrified. As he turns, he like bumps into the biker gang guys, and they're like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Like the little guy is like instantly gets up and like picks this guy up and throws him against one wall.
Okay, can I stop that from happening? Because I'm obviously watching this poor guy do a hard turn. I'm like, no, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
And then I see him get picked up and like thrown. Can I, like, with my like kinetic ability, just kind of stop him and put him gently down before he breaches the wall?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So yeah, the little guy like picks him up and like hucks him kind of across the room. And there's a moment where the guy is like stumbling back. He drops his drink and he's heading towards like one of the windows. And you tap into the way and reach out. And does it feel like anything specific when you do it, or?
I think there's like, it feels like this huge openness. Like she taps inside and then feels like this big expanse of connection, like it's just so wide and so open. She's almost scared to stretch out too far into it because she feels like she might lose herself, So it's like, this is like a little action. So she like opens herself up and like grabs him and feels that like huge empty power, and then just sort of like gently puts him on the ground and releases it.
Yeah. He gets stopped midair and kind of placed onto his feet, and is like, "What the?" And doesn't.
If he turns around, Civi's like waving at him.
Yeah. The three gang members also turn around and see you doing that, and you hear the little guys like, "Hey, she's one of them freaks," and the big guys are like,
As he says that, Levi's coming across like sniffing it. Hey, gentlemen, do I smell to you? I don't think I smell that bad. Look, I smell like a hard day's honest work. It's the sweat of a good working man. Like do I smell bad? Is that what, like, is it?
Would you say I
smell bad?
One of the big burly guys like puts his hand on your chest and he's like, "You smell like you need to back off," and like shoves you to the bar. And you
can I just set my back heel?
Absolutely, yeah. Make a prowess roll. Make a resistance roll. This will be what, scrap?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm so down for a bar scrap.
Highest I got was a 4.
Was a 4? So,
which is honestly narratively.
Yeah. You get shoved, and you do manage to kind of catch your weight. You don't slam into the bar, but you do kind of stop yourself and bump into another guy. This guy was like pretty drunk, and you bump into him, and he like falls off his stool. It's like hits the ground, and at that point, the bartender Jin comes out. From behind the bar, and he's like, okay, fellas, all right, calm down, take it easy, all right, take it easy.
Jin, I'm really sorry. Apparently, I smell so bad that I knocked this guy out. He's like, he helps the other guy up, and he's like, "Hey, it's all right, Levi, don't worry about it." And he's like, "Listen, you fellas," catches a right hand from one of the big dudes, and like slams into the bar and like drops in. He's like, "Whoa."
That's a broken nose right there, I say to Sybil.
Yeah. The little guy, like, starts heading towards your table. The big guy who punched Jin heads over to pick up Jin. He's right by you, Levi, if you want to do anything.
That's not
these
okay.
These three look like they want to start a fight.
Luna's on her feet.
Yes, if that's what we're doing. And I'm just gonna like try and clothesline this big guy.
Yeah, make a
now that I've got my feet under me, I can see where he's moving.
Anyone who wants to roll, make a scrap roll. This is risky because they want to hurt you. So if you fail, it may not work, but if you succeed, you're gonna get it.
Okay, I'm going to push because I got a pair of 5s there, and I don't like a pair of 5s.
Okay.
So push is a re-roll, right? But I got to mark it down as a stress point.
As stress, yes.
How many dice am I rolling? Just to clarify, I have 3 in the grey column for prowess.
Yes,
of
so
those
you
is
roll
not
3 plus however many extras you've got for scrap, which at this point-
Incredible. So I rolled 3 and I got 3 6s.
Whoa.
Oh snap! Oh snap!
Yeah.
Mark of
So,
the beast.
I mean, between
Yeah.
Levi and Luna, you guys are gonna have a great time. Sib, Vic, what are you doing in this?
Go ahead.
These
Sib.
3 are intent on starting a fight, probably with you all. You see Levi and Luna just kind of almost instinctively leap towards them.
Go ahead, Sybil.
What do you? Yeah, Sib, you want to do
Okay,
anything?
so yeah, I think I was starting to walk with my parasol cocktail towards the guy that I'd stopped being slammed into the wall, you know, and that's kind of where my attention's focused. But as I realize like people are coming closer again, I hef the cocktail
Yes.
towards the people like in the crowd, and I'm looking for like a candle or something flammable so that I can hef that. I rolled and I got a 3 and a 6, so
Okay,
I don't know
yep,
what
great,
that means.
Great,
but
nice.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so again, it's a 6 is great. You do the thing. You get an increased. Anyone who's rolled a 6 gets an increased effect to what you're trying to do. Vic, are you trying to do anything?
Yeah, Vic is just going to hop out of the booth, and he's going to kind of walk towards the guy. Is it the little guy that's walking towards our booth right now?
Yeah, and one of the bigger guys.
I'm just going to be like, fellas, I'm sure we can talk about this. I can see you're very aggravated right now, but there's always a peaceful means of diffusing the situation. If we could just sit down and have a drink. I'm going to try to sway.
Yep.
I'm going to try to sway these
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, right on.
I love that you're doing that as I'm coating them in alcohol.
Yeah, the fight
and
is breaking out, and I'm
them.
just like, no, we can talk this through.
Again, it's a risky position. If you succeed, they're gonna kind of not focus on you and focus on the others, which will give you a better position the next time you want to do something.
Yeah, I love it.
But if you fail, they're not going to listen to you.
No, I agree. No, I failed. I totally failed, real bad.
What did you get?
I got a 1 and a 2.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Vic, as you're saying that, the bigger of the two of them, the big guy, like grabs you by the Hawaiian shirt and just like throws you back into the booth. It's like it hurts, but it's not. You don't get harmed by it.
Okay.
Sib, you got a 6, yeah?
Yeah, I got a 6.
Yeah, so you managed to
set
only
these guys on fire.
only coat them. You don't get any bystanders. And you can see that on one of the tables by someone else who was having a cigarette. You see like a classic Zippo line.
Oh, like it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I like.
Yep. And you. Yep.
Yeah.
Levi, what did you get for your clothesline?
So I got a pair of 5s on my first roll, but I decided to push.
Yep.
Because I was feeling a little hazy, a little wobbly on my feet. Not quite as sharp as I was a little earlier in the day. But managed to push through that and find a 6.
Yes, nice. Excellent. So you got a 6. Luna, you also got a 6, yeah?
Yeah, I got 3 of them. If that
Yeah,
counts.
I think there was just a moment where like suddenly there was 2 of the guy.
Yeah.
And as I swung round, I went, oh, there we go.
Yep, nice. Okay. So because Luna, you got 3 6s. The team gets another gambit.
Ooh, tasty.
So you get an extra gambit, and both Sib, as you kind of coat these fools in flammable liquid and throw the flame down, there's a moment where it hits the table and like catches a bit of the flame, and then starts burning these guys' legs. Just as Luna comes flying out of the booth and just like checks the smaller guy right as Levi is launching from the bar and collecting the bigger dude in a clothesline, and they slam into each other and kind of drop as they realize they're starting to catch fire. As this is all happening, you see Jin kind of like get up, still with the guy who fell off the thing, and he's just like, oh shit, and starts moving behind the bar. you see Vic has been hurled back into the booth, and the larger of the big guys turns around, sees his companions lying on the ground on fire, and like reaches into his vest and pulls out a gun. It's just like racks the gun and points it at you, Levi. And as he does, there is the sound of like a gunshot. As he's pointing the gun at Levi, you see him fly sideways, boom, against the wall right next to you, Vic. Massive hole in the side of his neck, and just like
I don't think I can fix that, buddy.
he's looking at you like as the life drains
Put some pressure
from
on
his
it.
eyes. And you look over at the source of the gunfire, and you see from just behind the booth the gentleman in the glasses and the cigarette, holding a gun and looking at the four of you, and he's like, "I think we should leave, yeah."
Yep.
Yeah.
And you see, like, as you do, you look behind you and you see Jin appear from behind the bar with a shotgun. All right, what the? It's like, as the four of you head out of the bar.
I will actually, as I'm leaving, I'm like grabbing the guy, and I'm like, okay, so we call the ship, baby. It's a fire drake. Find me. My name's Isabella. Bye.
Oh my god.
You see him like run as the five of you like boost out of the bar down into one of the back alleys. You hear him like at the door, and he's like, my name's Bert.
I love you, bud. Like as she's running.
He looks like his heart swells 3 sizes.
Oh, that's cute. Alan, would there have been anything on the guy that died next to Vic? Anything that would have been easily grabbable or searchable, or anything that looked valuable that Vic could have grabbed off of him?
Yeah, the gun looked pretty valuable.
Yep.
And you saw that one. He was wearing was like a leather bracer.
Mm-hmm.
That had, it looked like a very prominent like faction insignia on it.
Yeah,
You could grab
I'll
that.
grab that.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll grab that in the
Yeah,
gun.
sure.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yep, nice.
On
Nice.
the way out the bar, Luna's just going to toss over her shoulder. Looking forward to next time, Jin.
You see, there's a moment where Jin, after he's like, what the, and then sees you leaving, and you swear as you're running down the alleyway, you can hear him laughing.
Yep, sweet.
Nice.
As well as like
Levi's
like
on the
the
way
chaos
out.
of,
Going,
like,
I'm
one
really
guy's like,
sorry
"Oh
about the
my
mess,
God."
mate, but it really didn't go down the way I thought it was going to go down. I'm sorry I smell so bad. That really kicked this whole thing off.
You kind of arrive to the like around the corner, and there's a moment where you have to like run out into like a main street, and as you do, the Darian stops and kind of turns back to you, and he's just like, "You have a ship, yeah? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, we need to get on the ship
Called
right
baby.
now." Okay,
It's not
sure.
called baby. That was
Whatever
a
it's called, we
stupid
need to
name.
get on the ship right now. Where are you parked?
That always.
Couple of ships down from Hicks's.
Okay, all right, let's go. And you book it now. Are you going to pick up the stuff from Hicks?
I'm like, if I think I can get away with it, like if I think I can in timing. So I'm kind of putting that question to the crew as I'm running, you know? I'm like, you guys owe me for the drags, although the drags did end up being incredibly helpful. Like looking at Levi, like
I can't leave until I fix this. And
and
by,
I've got to get
I mean we.
I
We
got to get
can't
stuff for Vic anyway. Okay, I'll meet you at the ship. Go. And like, yeah, she's like running into.
Yeah. And are you just getting the things that Vic needed?
Yeah, basically, I think she's also sort of picking up some basics for herself.
Yeah.
Another crystal, another bit of incense, another
Yeah, sure.
like there's a bit of writing material, you know, that she wants anyway.
Yep. Yeah. So, Vic, Levi, Luna, you run with Darian towards the docking bay. I mean, Levi, you know that on the ship you could fix this thing up lickety split. You know.
Which is fine. I just I want everybody to be very aware that
That
ship
you ain't
cannot
leaving,
unmoor until this has been
Yeah,
delivered back.
the Banshee won't let you leave until she's got that.
Yeah.
Sweet. Sib, you get to Hicks's place, and you like head through the door. Like Hex has got like almost basically like a traveling caravan.
Yeah, nice.
And you kind of bust in the door, and as you do, you are hit with this wave of something that comes straight out of the way. It hits you square in the back and knocks the breath out of you and drops you to your knees. And for a moment, your vision blurs, and all you can see is that symbol you remember from the information that you had earlier.
Yeah.
It kind of thuds and thumps in time with your pulse in your eyes before you eventually like come back to where you are, and you see Hex is like kneeling down in front of you. Do you want to describe what Hex looks like? Is Hex just your average crystal dealer?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I think so. You know, you've got like long kind of hair that hasn't been cleaned in a long time. Sort of bandana sort of pulling everything back. And then I want to say like a fringed vest.
Yep.
Other than that, I don't really know.
No,
like
perfect. Yeah, Hex is like in a flight suit, but has added the fringed vest with like, you know, like hand stitched patches on it. And their hair is pulled back with a bandana. That's got like, you know, the bandana has like the screen printed 3 wolves on it.
Yeah, nice.
And they pick you up. They're like, oh, Sib, are you okay? Are you all right?
And she's actually panting pretty heavily. She's like, whew, that one hit hard. I didn't even take anything. I mean, don't have the dregs from the rusty bucket.
Oh no, everyone knows you don't have that. No, that's
I didn't know.
That's a real quick way to go blind, if you know what I mean.
yeah. A sip was enough.
Jeez,
hey.
you had a sip of that? Hang on. And you see like they go behind the thing and they pull out like it's like a small, just a little baggie.
Yeah. Nice.
Looks like tea leaves. And they're like, here, just distill this in a little bit of water for a while. Sip this, it'll flush the system out. It's gonna be a rough couple of hours.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
All right. I mean, I've got the usual list from Beck, and I put that down, but I like turn it over and I'm like, but just, have you ever seen? And she like quickly sketches out the symbol that she's been seeing, and have you ever seen or come across this before?
Hex looks at it and is like, where'd you find this? Who told you about this?
Well, actually, I've known about it like nearly my whole life.
Okay. Yeah, right. Look, I don't know how you got this. But
it's in my brain.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's in your brain. Of course it's in your brain. Right. Well, you okay. Quick rundown, Cliff Notes. Very old, ancient artifact,
makes sense.
historical ruling race of people, supposedly lost to time. Lots of religions have been built around it. There's a whole thing.
Completely lost,
like this
right?
Is,
my parents found it in the ruins, you know, where it came from.
Yeah, but like this, you know, like no one can really agree if it's real or not. But what I will say is everywhere that this image has shown up, trouble follows. Okay, so here, take your things, grab it. Everything Vic needs is in there. I threw in some extras just for you because I love you.
Oh, thanks.
But we should maybe just not talk for a while, a little bit. It's not, babe, it's not you, it's me. But anyway, you be safe, and they start like pushing you towards like, be safe, you know, light, love, all of that for you.
Yeah,
like, you know,
and she lets herself be pushed to the door, and then she just turns back and grabs him, and she's like, that bad, huh?
He's like, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be, yeah, it's that bad. Okay.
Yeah, great. Great. She like goes to leave and then turns back and gives him a big hug and is like, I don't want to get you in trouble either. And then she like dashes out the door.
Yeah, he watches you for a while before like closes the door. And as you kind of run towards the ship bay, you can hear like him spinning up his engines.
Yeah, and she's processing that because like Hex is a friend of hers, right? Like, and that was a weird interaction. She's like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, she's determined to go back to her room and study more, you know? Yeah.
Yep. Nice. Okay. So you arrive at the ship, Vic, Levi, Luna, with Darian. You arrive on it. You can already you're like greeted with Sid again, who just looks at you and he's like, look, come see, new kitchen. It's pretty fancy. And you could like it is a beautiful galley kitchen. He's like, I can make so many things. Look, turns to Luna. I've already started on the noodles. It's like it smells delicious in the galley. Yeah.
There's a lot of smiles on the crew right now. I'm looking around.
Already, you can see like Matchstick is in the midst of eating something. And he's like, "Oh, really good. It's so good."
Even Tony's smiling. He never smiles, Tony.
Yeah. Like Tony, like a grizzled kind of crew member, looks up and he's like, "Yeah, it's good.
This is good."
There are small like hanging baskets of different herbs festooned around the galley. Sid's like, look at this, so many great things. Alrighty, I love it. I'm looking forward to making all of the meals. He's like, how'd it go? Everything
starving.
Go okay?
Yeah, great. Mostly.
Levi, how long do you need?
Not too long. Look, I'm sorry, Sid.
5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Oh, like an hour, probably an hour. If it takes less than an hour, I'll let you know. But I'll shower before I come out and say I'm really sorry about this.
Oh my god, I was joking.
But that whole thing, the guy fell over. I smelled so bad. It can't be joking that much. Like, and then those guys were so offended. Look, I'm going down. I'm going down to the.
You okay?
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Sweet.
Okay.
All
right. Darian, we good for an hour?
I mean,
we're gonna have to be.
Yeah, I guess so, right? All right.
Have some noodles.
Ginger, you're
settle in.
Leaving.
It's fine.
You see, like Darian, like sits at the table, and like is blatantly just eyeing the rest of the crew. Matchstick is like, and Tony is like, and like, as Darian sits down, as soon as their butt touches the seat, Sid's like, noodles, have the noodles, throw the noodles. And like,
Darian, you need not worry.
A massive hand. Yeah,
we are nothing but discreet here aboard the baby cake.
The baby cake.
Baby cakes.
The baby cakes.
Nobody here saw you, right, guys? None of you saw anybody that's not part of our crew on board the ship today, right, guys? Tony, right, guys?
Sid's like, I don't see anybody. Tony's
I mean, apart from the people that installed the galley, I'm not even there. But like, apart from all of those people, right?
Yeah. You see, Ginger Matchstick is just like, well, yeah, no, he's sitting right there. Before Tony like elbows him, and he's like, it's good noodles.
Luna's gonna.
Darian's just like, okay.
Luna's gonna snag a bowl of noodles and head to the cockpit. Orbot following along behind.
Yep.
Continuing to roll.
Yeah, I should have been. Was Orbot with you when you went to the bar? I should have said that.
No, I'm gonna go with yes, but hanging out.
Yeah, relatively discreet. Yeah. Other people have robots around them as well, so it wasn't. Yeah. It's not out of place. Yeah. Cool. Nice. All right. Levi, do you want to make me are you hacking this or are you rigging it? What are you doing?
So I think this is more of a rig job than a hacking job. I will put my hand up and say I did consider trying to set up a little backdoor thing where I could pull information from it, but Banshee's done favors I wouldn't call Banshee a friend, but she certainly looked after us when we needed a hidey hole. No, I'm just gonna straight rig to repair this thing. That's all.
Sure. Yeah. Give me a roll. You're in your ship, so this is a controlled position. So if you do well, you will fix it, but if you fail, you won't destroy it, but it'll just be a bit. You'll have to come at it differently.
No, I got 1-6 off the roll, so I'm
Yeah, right on. Yeah, you managed to you flip it around, and you very quickly with your tools, and also with Tavi and Naga helping you as well. It's very quick, very easy to fix this up, and you flip it around, and it fires up, and you see the coordinates for a settlement in a different system. Now, you don't know of any tracking device that can go cross-system like this.
So I think what I do is I just get like Naga to run kind of a 2-stage thing. Like one's like a system diagnostic, and the other one is literally using that sensor array to take kind of like X-ray, CAT scan, MRI scans of the whole thing. So I've got like the whole structure of it.
Okay. Yep.
Recorded in Naga's memory bank while I go and rip through the shower and put on some fresh clothes. And I get back out and I'm feeling a lot better. And I grab one of the little like courier droids that I've got and just slap this receiver into it and send that off to Banshee and walk back out into the like the sort of the dining area, knotting my bandana around my neck. Hey guys, sorry, got that sorted out for Banshee. I'm feeling a lot better than I was. I think I had a drink with her, and I guess it hit me a little harder than I thought it was going to. Probably should have had more for breakfast.
We good to
Yeah,
leave?
and Sib walks back in and she's like, "Oh, everything smells good. Even you, Levi."
Sweet. So, you get given the all clear.
I'm just waiting on a response from Banshee, and then we'll be fine. She's sending a package back for me, a couple of bits and pieces I needed picked up.
Yep.
As soon as that gets here, we're good to go.
Cool.
Fair.
There is the clearance codes comes through. Levi, you get a message that there is a package for you just at the back at the space dock master's booth. And Luna, you and Matchstick get the ship ready to go. You start firing up the engines and plotting a course to get off planet.
Hey,
Levi,
Allan.
you grab.
I was sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go finish. I have something though.
Sure. Levi, you retrieve the package and you open it and you see 4 vials. You not only do you see 4 vials, you see the scanning device that you just fixed and sent back. There's a small note that just says, fixing it was only half the job. I require retrieval. Banshee. But you have the clearance codes and you have the vials, so whether or not you want to check out what that signal is up to you, Levi. But as you know, the Banshee has asked something of you, so she will expect something. But you are clear to leave. Vic, did you have something? Or unless you want to deal with that, Levi, or... No? All right, Vic, what you got?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say that I'm just going to tuck the vials into some of the armored pockets on the inside of my overalls, and then kind of wander back with the package in one hand and the note in the other, like kind of quietly chewing on it, like considering how I'm gonna tell everybody that we got something to do for the Banshee.
Yep, sweet.
Yeah, the thing that Vic had talked about doing was getting intel on what sort of heat there might be with our departure, or anything we need to be aware of as we boost out of this spaceport. And so I'm wondering if I could use, if I need to, a flashback or something to have had an opportunity to speak with some of the locals, or maybe it was the gangers that when I was amputating the arm or something of that nature, to give me to give us some sort of intel that would allow us to have a higher likelihood of departing from the spaceport without being followed or intercepted.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, sweet. So now, in terms of flashbacks, to use a flashback, that is going to require some stress.
Mhm.
So depending on the kind of flashback you want to do will depend on the amount of stress you take. Are you talking about trying to obfuscate your departure? Or are you just trying to know who's going to be following you?
Well, like if we know that something else is going out at the same time and we can slipstream on the wake or whatever, and something like that. Just what if,
that's a good idea. Yeah, I like that. Some
because
sort of
because currently
obfuscation.
you were seen in a bar fight with these gangers.
Yeah.
And like the authorities are going to know, but the Banshee will find out. So people are going to be watching you when you leave. So it depends on how. Yeah, what would you like to do for this flashback?
Maybe have. I think like the specific details, or just what's the objective that I'm trying.
Yeah, what's the objective?
The objective that I'm trying to achieve is to allow us a departure that is maybe concealed, cloaked, obfuscated.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that idea from Sybil about just kind of like piggybacking off of a transport ship that's leaving or something like that, or a cargo freighter.
Yeah, gotcha. Okie dokie. So in that case, I would say that, let me just look up the exact wording for a flashback. I would say that this is a complex action or unlikely opportunity, just because of like you don't control the information that goes in and out in terms of leaving. So that would be one stress, and you've got plenty of stress to spare.
Yep.
So take one stress and let's figure out what this flashback is exactly. Where is this happening?
I think it probably makes the most sense that something would have gone down during the amputation sequence, where perhaps Vic would have been able to, with his, he's a pretty likable individual, and so I think he would have been, talking up the group of gangers to sort of diffuse the tension of the situation with their friend on the cutting board and that kind of thing, and then have inserted, after kind of winning them over a little bit, at least their trust, having inserted questions about any transport ships, or maybe like a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a manifest, but a schedule of departures.
Schedule? Yeah, totally. Yeah, go for it. Make a sway roll, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. If this is just a flashback roll, so this is just going to change the effect. There's no position or effect.
Okay. I did roll I had 2 dice. One of them was a 1, the other was a 6.
A 6, right on. Yeah. Yeah. There's a moment where one of the gangers is like, he's like, oh yeah. No, we actually got brought on board as like private security for like a big like a mining ship. That's been passing through, just dropping off some. And we're due to dust off later today. It's man, you should see the size of this thing. One of the other guys is like, yeah. There's like 4 or 5 security crews on this. This thing is huge.
I'll be
Feels
darned.
like it. It's one of those. It's like whatever they're mining. Like they're not mining asteroids. This is like a whole thing.
Any idea where they're heading?
Yeah, where they're headed out to the Iota system. Up next, we're going to stop at the Iota system. There's something out there that needs mining, and then then it goes back to the hegemony, back to the Imperium.
I'll be damned. Well, hey, thanks for the information. You know what? It's nice to hear that you've got a respectable, well-paying job. They got unions on that ship.
We're respectable business.
You guys organized? Yeah. You guys organized the labor on that ship? Because I'd be happy to sit down next time I'm around and we could have a conversation.
You see, one of the gangers is like, I don't know what you just said. What?
Don't worry about it.
Sweet. Yes. So that a ship of this size would be fantastic for trying to hide in the cover of, in terms of,
Yeah.
it would absolutely obfuscate your departure.
I will relay that information to our crack pilot,
Nice.
Luna.
So yeah, you Luna, you get the signal. You've found a time. The large like mining freighter is on its way out, and you take off. In fact, can you just quickly give me a piloting check?
Yep.
A helm roll, please. Just to see how obfuscated you are. I mean, it's controlled, so
Sweet. Okay. I got 1-6.
nice. So you managed to sit near. There are actually a fleet of kind of support ships that follow this freighter around, and you managed to get the Fire Drake kind of in the midst of that. The other pilots from the other ships just assume you're another contractor that was brought on board, so they don't pay you no mind. And before long, you and this freighter and their fleet are like heading out of the Ashtari cloud.
Nice.
The freighter moves through the cloud remarkably well. You're fairly certain that the navigator on this mining freighter has specific directions to get the freighter through the cloud.
Huh.
So you,
Fascinating.
your flight computer kind of takes note of the path that it takes.
Mm-hmm.
So should you need to get something large in and out of the cove, you'll know how to do it now.
Sweet.
Perfect.
Nice. And you head off out into the unknown.
I literally was just singing that in my head.
You're off out into space. Darian sits with you in the kind of central meeting area, and basically produces it looks like an iPad, and places it down and brings up an image and starts to talk you through. And he says, we've found evidence of an ancient colony, community. We're not sure. We assume it's a race of spacefaring individuals, and they just appeared in the system, and there's no record of them arriving or even leaving. And the image you see, Sib, you recognize it as that image that keeps interrupting your thoughts. If this person or group or artifact is enabling people to move without being noticed, that does not bode well for landing in the hands of a warmongering, bloodthirsty Imperium. So it seems like the Legion would like to get their hands on it before the Imperium does.
What's your read on this thing, Darian? Is it a weapon? Is it a valuable relic? Some sort of device of channeling cosmic energy?
Well, from what we can gather, it's responsible for the disappearance of an entire part of the kind of galactic history.
Well, if there's one thing that the hegemony is an expert in, is making galactic cultures disappear. Now, to reappear is an entirely different endeavor.
Exactly. And this is what frightens everybody the most. Like, we understand technology that can remove people, that can make civilizations cease to exist. But to make them reappear, re-exist, that is dangerous for a number of reasons.
Dangerous and liberating.
Well, liberating is a very broad term, but yeah. Now,
It's power, Vic.
Yeah.
And you know people kill for power.
they sure do. Well, I am gonna leave this with you, and I guess nearest settlement we get past, you can just drop me off and I'll get out of your hair. And we never even needed to have this conversation.
But we did have it.
No, I don't think we did. I don't even.
It's
recall.
okay, Sybil. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, I kind of am quite worried about it.
It's fine.
I
That's
mean,
fine.
look. He's like, look, I'll just, yeah, okay. All right.
Oh, you mean you want me to keep quiet on it? Secrets I can do.
Yeah, look, just don't. Myself and my colleagues will make it very, very difficult for anyone to know this happened. And, yeah.
Why are you helping the Lost Legion? I mean, that's not your usual, Elaine.
Well, we understand that rather than helping any one side gain any kind of advantage, it's more about how can we maintain some kind of balance.
And yeah, Sib chews on that. She's like, I'm into balance. I get it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting position to take, Darian. Sort of
Well,
the
it's
path of least resistance.
not necessarily. If a dictator is assaulting a less empowered, vulnerable society, we'll do whatever we can to help that victim regain a bit more of their autonomy and a bit more of their power. But should that society then start to become dictators or fascistic themselves, then. But it's about balance.
You know, sometimes
kind of,
it's all
without
right
looking
to tip the balance in favor of complete chaos for just a moment to see what kind of beautiful things rise from the ashes. That's what I'm most curious about.
No.
Without even like looking up from the package that he's like just turning over in his hands, Levi just says, "There's something a little unsettling about somebody who'd put themselves as the final arbiter of what balance means." That's a dictatorship of a whole different kind.
Well, that's okay. Nobody needs to, because the way is balance. So.
And you see, Darian says, I more prefer to think of myself and my colleagues as information gatherers and observers. We don't take a direct hand in changing the balance. We just make sure that people are aware of resources within their means.
To be
Oh, yeah,
fair,
Darian. You did shoot a guy in the throat earlier.
I did. He was about to shoot one of you, and that would greatly diminish the efforts that we have in place to try and get this information to you. So
That makes you family. More noodles.
I'm okay with noodles. They were delicious, but I'm fine, thank you. And we're definitely not family. Definitely not that. So you hurtle off into space. You eventually find a it's not, you don't pass by a planet, you pass by like a trading station, just a little trading space station on the way, and drop Darian off. And as you're heading off into space, you start looking over the information that he gave you about this artifact and the things that people do know and they don't know. And Luna or Levi, either one of you, as you're looking at this information, you spot that one of the main interests from the hegemony, from the Imperium, is the military research and development sector, the sector that is being run by your father.
That's what I was concerned of.
And as the group of you, laden with noodles and delicious cookies, hurtle off into the bleakness of space, that is where we will end today's session. We'll kick off our next session with the downtime. 5 will get in contact with you as you head towards wherever you're going to go. But yeah, that's Scum and Villainy, y'all.
Yeah, baby. All right, we're into it now. We are being manipulated by intergalactic arbiters of balance.
And my party gave me my first stress. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. Thank you so much, Alan. So good, you guys.
No
Great
worries. Thank all of y'all. What a great little foray into the drive, into the game. We got there. You know, there's a lot about this game that is different. So I wanted to make sure we gave time to kind of figuring out the new interesting bits. But yeah, I love how very kind of player focused it is in terms of the options you give will dictate what the story is doing and where it's going.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you all for being here. Let's go back around the table for people that maybe joined us later in the game or whatever, so they know who we are. Alan, why don't we start with you real quick?
Yes.
Tell people who you are.
Kia ora, everyone. I'm Allan Henry. I'm a thoroughly strange person. I am a performance capture artist. You might have recently seen me as King Kong in the Scar King in the Monsterverse films, or the Cocaine Bear. I'm also a big nerd, and I play a lot of tabletop role-playing games and video games with my friends. And yeah, it's a real joy to bring Scum and Villainy to Guild Superior. Guild Superior is a wonderful community of players, and I love being able to bring my wonderful friends from New Zealand to the Guild Superior community, because what an awesome mingling of wonderful people. But yeah, that's me. Shall we go to Emily? You.
I'm Emily. I, as mentioned previously, am a narrative witch in many forms. I played Luna today, and I had a great time kicking off this round, this chapter of this story, and I'm very much looking forward to coming back again next week. Jules, I will throw to you.
Hi, everybody. You can find me everywhere as Jules from NZ. I have very much enjoyed playing Sibylla for you all today. She turned out to be more of a chaos gremlin than I thought she was going to be. So I'm just, leaning into that. You can also find me everywhere, all over the place, doing Fate of Eisen, turning up to Armageddons and running guest DM spots. My band plays rock and roll covers. I'm a basically real life bard, which is awesome. So follow along to see my craziness. And I can't wait to come back next week and do this again.
Nice. Josh.
Josh?
Hi, I'm Josh. I've been playing Levi. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with my twin sister Luna. Out of character, I'm a giant geek. I love ttrpgs. I love stories, is what I love. Getting to tell them, getting to experience them, and it's been a delight and a blast. Starting this one off with such a hiss and a roar, and I haven't really got anything cool going on, so I'll throw it over to Dave.
Thank you guys so much for bringing this game here. This is super fun. Great characters. This first session was fantastic because we got to showcase like a lot of sort of backstory elements of our characters in very like subtle ways, which was cool, and maybe some not so subtle ways, but very, very fun. So thank you for that. We will be back here with more gaming. In fact, coming up on Tuesday, we have a finale for our Outlaws of Greyhawk game. On Wednesday, we have a finale for our Heroes of Eidolon's game, and then we'll be back here on Saturday. The fun just never ends, and I feel blessed to be able to play in these games with such talented people like you're seeing here today. So thank you very much. Stick around because we're going to raid into the Initiative League here after we close this down. Thanks to everybody who's been hanging out in the chat with us. We do have a kind of a low-key fundraising effort going on for the American Civil Liberties Union. So if you feel strongly about democracy in our country, please go check that out and help us raise some funds to protect that. We will be back and we'll see you. We love you. Thank you so much. Take it easy. Bye.